Salvete omnes, salvete amici, nomen mihi est, decumus Aurelius Ingeniarius, legat pro praetore Australiae tribunus plebis. Good evening, hello, good day, everybody, from wherever you're watching in the world, across our Roman Republic and otherwise. I am Decumus Aurelius, and you are watching the Roman Twitch channel brought to you by Nova Roma. It's amazing to be here today for our 14th episode of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast. Very excited to continue this on. We had an epic session last week with the victory over the Second Punic War. An absolute breath of fresh air and a huge relief to see that war off the table. But as always in Roman history, the wars continue to come out thick and fast. A few Spanish wars on the table now. I think there's 4 active wars on the table right now, with one in the chamber ready to fire. So the Senators certainly have a lot cut out for themselves. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they'll go in this session. So without any further delay, as usual, we're going to take a brief moment to transition to the Roll20.net virtual tabletop environment. So we'll be back very shortly. Please stick around. Okay, and we are now live in the virtual tabletop environment. Let's do my sound check. Yes, good. My microphone seems adequate. Let's do a check of our senators now. So if I could get the usual wave and a salvete from all the senators.
Salvete!
Good, yes, we're clipping in the red across the bar. That's very good. Fan-diddly-tastic, or bene optime, perhaps as they would say in Latin. So welcome to our viewers who are watching right now, or if you're watching this on YouTube in the future. Pleasure to have you drop by and watching our 14th session. Right, we're in the population phase, folks. We know the deal. Let's crack on. Let's talk it through. We've got our cheat sheets or our guide sheets here in front of us. As we see, we're going to do like we normally do and work out our unrest level. So I'm going to open up a pad of my paper in case I need that, and let's go have a look through our war cards area. Nothing to worry about down in the imminent wars box, nothing out of the ordinary there in terms of drought effects. But if we go up to our active wars box, we can see 4 active wars on the chart right now. So we're currently seeing a modifier of 4, but we do see the drought effect on the first Sicilian pirates there, so that'll be an additional modifier. So we're looking at an additional modifier of 5. Is there any comments to the contrary from the senators?
No, that seems accurate.
Does seem accurate, which will now take our state unrest level
Would the new wars be considered unprosecuted?
Sorry.
Or just they've become active?
Yeah, let's take a step back there. So I might be confusing in terms of revenue phase. So this is why I like to ask the question. So, right, you've highlighted a good point there, where we're only considering the effects of unprosecuted wars. All right, so now I wasn't sure about the Lustinian War. I think that was new, right, last turn. So that is not considered unprosecuted yet?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe they're both new because
the first and the third are both new wars that came out last round.
Yes.
Just as we're pulling cards.
Agreed. I think I agree. So really we've actually only got the 2. We've only got the 2 unprosecuted wars, right?
And
so
the drought, which is 3.
First Macedonian, first Sicilian pirates, plus the drought, which is 3, which is a much better number than what perhaps I was originally proposing there. So we're going to see an addition of 3 to the state unrest level if perhaps Dictator wants to nominate someone.
To move it,
I'll do it, it's all good.
There you go. Yep. Or someone wants to volunteer. See, Alan's up nice and early. Salve, Alan. All right. Good. The state unrest level is now updated. All right, and I'll check my messengers. Actually, nothing from the senators. Good. All right. Now let's have our glorious State of the Republic address, which is the other component of our population phase. I'd like to hear from the good dictator again, a bit of a speech, and then the dictator will roll the 3d6 as per normal, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the view on the State of the Republic table, ready to go for that moment. So at this point in time, handing over to the dictator for any words on the State of the Republic.
Thank you for the glorious battles that we have fought, and for the, I was about to say generally all right state of Rome. The state unrest level could be a little bit lower, but the state treasury has money, and we have less wars than I think we've previously had. I think we've had more. Yes. the next phase should be very interesting. And so I'm going to roll a 1d6.
It'll be 3d6 today. But first of all, let's
3d6.
double check. What is the popularity of our dictator?
9.
9.
9. Very good. So we'll take
Plus
that into
2.
account. Now, what is our unrest level?
7.
7. So 7 with the 9. That'll give us a plus modifier of 3. No, 2. Plus 2 modifier on your 3d6 roll. All right. So when you are ready, dictator, 3d6, and let's see how we go. There's the roll. We get a roll. Wow.
Oh,
Holy dooly.
nice.
All right, guys.
17 plus, 2, and we're going to get 18 or above here. That is a phenomenal speech.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it go off the chart for
All
a
right.
State of the Republic.
Right,
I mean, does
I've
this go
never
to
seen that either.
-4?
Even with, and we got the unrest level right. So we had an unrest level 7. We took the 9 popularity into account.
Yes.
It almost seems too good to be true, doesn't it? But unless signposted otherwise, right, that is a -3 from the unrest level.
Because considering we were looking at what was the curve distribution of 3d6, isn't a 17 like less than 2%? Like it's actually like a phenomenal roll.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think you're right. So well done to the dictator. Again, if whoever updated the state unrest level before, if you'd like to now reduce that by 3, that would be fantastic.
So no change practically to this.
No, it's -3. Yeah, that's really good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but practically no change from what it was before.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, essentially, yes. I see where we're going there. And, of course, that well and truly takes us into the Senate phase. So, Dictator, your Senate to run your elections.
Okay, so perfect. So the first thing is the election of consuls. So I am going to put forward for election of consuls. I am going to put forward Junius from the Pre-Byzantium. And I'm also going to put forward...
Can I have a good point? He was currently the Rome consul.
True.
So he can't be elected again?
Good pickup.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
previous
we would need a
previous
law
consuls
cast.
can't be elected.
Okay, no, that would require. What about? But what about like censors and things like that? They can be or master of horse.
I believe censor is the only office you're able to be elected into another office in.
Right.
At the current time.
Noting that they
Is that
are
the
likely to then.
same for master of horse?
Now, Master of
Master
Horse and
Horse is
Dictator
a major office.
are also ineligible, but they
Okay.
will, of course, lose their office after the consular elections. So they would be eligible to be Dictator and Master of Horse again, but not consuls.
But not.
Right,
But not for consuls.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
So Alan's suggesting that Censor and Master of Horse may be okay. It's just the Dictator is still not.
There you go. The more you know.
Okay, so
and that-
master of horse and censor can be elected as consuls.
yeah, right, because it is assumed the Censor would give up his post, or lose his post, because a censor election is upcoming. Yeah, Alan just said, just woke up.
Okay. I am going to have a look then. Dun, 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 dun. Where are we?
And is it 7 or 6 you are no longer able to go out on?
So an elder senator is 7 years of age plus.
Got it.
So they can still obviously be voted into those offices. There's no restrictions on that. But right, as you said, they just can't leave Rome. So that also applies for governors as well.
So that means that they can't go out to fight a war.
Correct.
Yes.
So if censor was picked for consuls, he would have to take up the Roman consul ability because he is age 9.
Well, so you could still vote in one elder senator and one that's not elder, and you could still have the elder senator as the field consul, but that just means that because the field consul is now ineligible to go out to war, then the Rome consul would be the first to go to war. Yeah, it's one of those.
Oh, Rome consul can? All right.
Well, yeah, only in that case. only in that case, if assuming there's no dictator, but the dictator can go whenever, right? But only in that case when we're using this Avalon Hill aging rule, if the field consul is an elder senator and the Rome consul is not, that is the only circumstance when the Rome consul can go to war before the field consul. And Alan has confirmed he was right. The Master of Horse can be elected consul. There we go. So no consuls and no dictators can be re-elected into the consular candidates.
And how many wars do we have on the table?
4.
Was it 4?
And a 5th one on the way.
Okay. Confirmed? Confirmed 5th one on the way?
5th one on
Correct.
the way, and we need to defeat the Sicilian pirates with a naval victory this turn. Unless we want to force all of it onto the next turn, and that would be our last shot at the war.
Good summary.
Okay, so that means that there would be perhaps a dictator.
Oh, yes.
Very much so.
I think that would be perhaps a good idea.
That's the only thing.
And hopefully both of them with 4 military rating.
Okay.
All right. Good to see the dictator giving it some good, careful thought.
Yep. There's only so many options.
True. Your options can start to get a bit thin very quickly.
I believe it's not limited to prior consuls. That's only censor, correct? Everyone
is correct.
can have a chance.
Everybody is eligible. Yeah. It's not like the real Roman Republic where you had to follow the cursus honorum first and be a quaestor and then an aedile and then a praetor. Certainly brand new senators off the block could certainly be eligible for consul. That's for sure. At least in this game, anyway.
I mean, it'd be great is if our statesman and Justin Marita wasn't away from Rome.
Yes.
True. But
Indeed.
some decisions are beyond our choice.
True.
Yeah.
Da-dun, da-dun.
I can hear the children playing outside the forum. This is very good. No, you're right.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I only make comment in jest. There's no problems at all.
Oh, no. It's just I do have a bit of a headache from just life.
Yes.
in general.
Well, I'll try and speak a little bit more
Definitely.
quieter then. I'll try not to be as overly enthusiastic.
Oh, you can have 4 children. I'll lend you mine.
Noted.
Okay.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
That's right.
To have more? No, definitely too late.
Jesus Christ, those amount of medals.
Yeah. Yes. Appears that Aurelius has earned himself a serious amount of gongs for his victory over the Second Punic War.
Yeah.
Blacksmith was busy. All right, if you're just tuning in, folks, or if you're watching, the dictator is just taking some time, and there's certainly no rush in our games. The dictator is very carefully considering candidate choices for the consul positions as we enter into this new Senate phase right now. And, of course, this is the first thing off the block on our sequence of events in the Senate phase. And certainly last session we saw quite an interesting set of proposals go through, quite a few candidate couples denied until a final set of consular candidates was elected. So we're seeing what the dictator will propose here shortly. And I guess we have to also note that, the dictator's proposals cannot be vetoed. I guess a note for our senators here while we're waiting.
But people can vote against it.
Correct. That is correct. Yes, they can still vote against it. They just can't veto the proposal.
Okay, I'm going to put forward Cassius from the House of Tiberius.
Yes, Fortuna's Despair. Yes.
Fortuna's Despair. And I'm going to put forward Furious from Justita Marita. I'm going to hear from votes from the House of Incognita.
So it was Furious, and who was the other one? Was it?
Cassius.
Cassius. The one who I killed. All right.
Yes.
Yes, the new Cassius.
Yes.
The new Cassius. The
one
fresh
that
one.
someone killed. We don't know who the
We don't know who.
Yeah. None of you know that. Yeah, I'll put 5 votes for.
You are a person of interest, though.
Never been caught.
Can I hear, please, from Fortuna's Despair?
So, sorry, what was the votes for?
5-4.
5-4. And I shall put 11 for.
Okay, can I please hear from the House of Justita Marita?
I'll place my 6 votes for.
Can I please hear from Pre-Byzantium?
3 votes in favour.
And I will place my, how many I have? Sorry, 19 in favour.
So it's unanimous for a total of 44 votes for.
All right. Very different outcome from last session. So a nice clean proposal there, cleanly passed. And so we now have our new consular candidate. So before we move on, I just want to make sure we do all our cross our I's and dot our T's. Did we get that right? First of all, can the all the previous consuls, so the Rome consul in Unius, the field consul in Plautius, and the dictator, ensure that you have a prior consul marker now, please. So I see that Unius has already got one, Julius already has one, so we just need one for Plautius. So perhaps if Numerius Aurelius from Pre-Byzantium, if you could please get a prior consul marker for Plautius, please, and for the Erudite faction, and place it on the field consul, just to make sure they don't miss out.
Okay, and I'm going to take these off.
And I guess while this is happening, our new elected consuls can have the discussion about who's going to be who, and while they're there, if they also want to discuss a potential dictator appointment, they can also do that. All right, I'm just going to help move some things out of the way here. There we go.
Jesus.
All right. Now, the Master of Horse will now lose his office, as will the Dictator, so those can also go back to the Senate too. All right. Yep, all the purple markers making their way back. Good. Rome Consul's got that one there. Good. Field Consul one. Good. Dictator one. Good. I'll take the Master of Horse one back there and put that marker with it. Good. All right. Making progress. So while the new consuls are deliberating, can you please make sure you also get your new influence of +5? So Cassius from Fortuna's Despair, make sure he gets his additional 5 to make, I think it's 8 influence now. And then, of course, over in Justi Marita, Furious, make sure he gets his 5 as well. And we'll just obviously determine the final outcome of Roman Field Consul very shortly. But while we wait, you can certainly add your influence because your consularship is set in stone. Thank you to the good notes of our scriber, which you're probably due for an update because I notice Papirius is no longer in Fortuna's Despair, so maybe you need to reassign the scriber role formally to a senator. Maybe something for the to-do list, perhaps.
While everybody's updating their information, I'm happy to introduce Rome's latest and coolest consul, Furious.
Thank you everyone. I'll be taking over the field consulship and the presiding magistrate for at least the time being. I'll just go through and update. Oh, sorry, I think I grabbed the wrong one.
Yes.
My mistake. Let's try this again. There we go. So update the influence.
All right, that's looking good. Yep, make sure your influence of Furious is up to date too. Good. Perfect.
So obviously the first bit of business is to look at the appointment of a dictator. I think it's been brought to the attention of the Senate that we have quite a large naval battle that we're going to have to prosecute. Naval battles have not been our forte in the past. We've had certainly some constructive victories against other major powers, but certainly it appears a well put together pirate fleet specializing in such combat is of needing to be dealt with. And finally, now that we've moved past the Second Punic War, it is time to cast our ire on the thorns that have been on our back for a number of years. As such, I think it's definitely that we definitely need to appoint a dictator, but I'm happy to hear discussions on this point.
Can I just clarify something? And I think I know the answer already, but the dictator and the master of horses ratings add to the naval strength, our naval strength?
Yes.
Thank you.
But certainly we can have a bit of discussion, because the leader value would add to the navy as well. So we're approximately looking at a 14 strength navy.
I've just got to confirm this again as well with the Game Master. When we do the naval battle, we can use those same troops as well to fight.
Yes, that is correct, and Alan should be able to back me up here. That is right. So once you can only fight a land battle if any prerequisite sea battle is fought first, and you can therefore also fight the land battle in the same turn if you have sufficient fleet support. So that's the kicker. So if you get a victory marker
Can you use
in the
same
sea battle,
dictator and master of horse on that same thing, or would you need to send a field consul to then verse the land
so
battle?
the dictator and master of horse can certainly still fight the land battle. You just need to obtain that victory marker first, and still have sufficient fleet support to fight the land battle.
Mm-hmm.
Which it follows that if you win the naval battle, that you will have sufficient fleet support.
Well, even if you get a
Unless
victory,
not
you still lose
necessarily.
forces, right?
Unless we lose 7
Yeah, okay.
Unless you get a flawless
fleets.
victory.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as part of considering it as a general debate on war strategy, could we also look to prosecute a second war if we detached 2 fleets? We could go after the Lusitanians.
I think it'll be certainly worth discussing, but we'll probably leave that up to the dictator. I think we've had enough discussion to at least come to a consensus that a dictator would be required at this stage. Mainly just having a thought about what would be the best person for that position. I know we have some strong military minds among us, but also lots of influence in those places. I'm kind of
you can choose Aurelius because he has less than 20 influence, and he's young.
Before we rush ahead into the dictator territory, there is a third option that we should consider, even if it's just to discount it, and that is that we leave the Sicilian pirates 1 turn while we build our treasury strength, so that we can buy a larger fleet next turn around, and then do both the fleet battle and the amphibious invasion to follow in 1 turn.
That is a possibility, but it's probably also worth noting that we need to defeat at least 1 war.
If we do that, then we could face the Second Punic War and the one that starts with an L. I'm not going to try and pronounce that.
Yeah, that's right.
Because those both have very minor fleet requirements. I believe it's 3 total, and the only amount of forces required between the 2 of them all together, I believe, equals 25.
So there's also a discussion, again, possibly just to discount it, of not having a dictator and sending the 2 consuls.
That's right. That's kind of what I was getting at. Is to, again, we don't have to do this, but let's not leave an option off the table.
Yeah.
To speak first, I don't like that level of risk. I don't like the level of risk that we might be defeated by the Sicilian pirates next turn and lose the game. I'd like to have a couple of shots at them. So for that reason, I'm in favour of the first strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all should speak about our preferences.
The disaster numbers don't seem too bad when we're considering the curve. We've got 2 numbers that cover each other, which obviously is quite good for us. 14 and a 15 and an 18. 18 is almost unheard of for a roll. So really it's only the 14-15, which I think is still a fairly low percentage. So I think if we have the manpower to prosecute the war, unlike previous wars where it's still kind of the luck of the gods, I think military strength would suffice in dealing with the pirates.
Yes.
And I've always been pretty for the Senate and not electing a dictator. I am kind of thinking in that direction then.
We don't need to if you think about it. If we send a field consul with what's our field consul right now? +3, I believe.
Field,
Correct.
I think it's
Field is 3 military.
3 military, and that adds to our naval.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yep.
So that alone already puts us, once we meet the requirement of ships, puts us at +3.
Yeah, because the other option would be just to send the navy. So even if it's not a victory outright, we don't risk losing land forces, and we can send land forces towards a another battle. Things we can discuss. But regardless, we need to defeat a war this turn.
Yeah, or at least one.
Very.
If you want to send land forces and just the naval one, we could do the Punic Wars. That only requires 1.
Well, that's right. We could do both. I feel like we've got the land strength to address both the Punic War and the Lusitanian War.
We have the land strength to address everything here.
Yeah,
but, to fight a war on 2 fronts. So that's the suggestion.
We need at least to get something done with the Sicilian pirates this turn.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right?
Yeah. And dealing with the naval battle does at least guarantee it won't be classed as unprosecuted, even if we don't deal with the land forces. I'm on the mind that we don't need a dictator.
So what do the numbers look like if we don't? So the Sicilians would have a naval strength of 14. We would have a naval strength of 15 plus the field consul, so 18. Are they the right numbers?
What we can raise? We can quickly do that. We've got 79. So let's say theoretically we raise 7 fleets, which would be our maximum.
12
7
plus
onto
3,
the 5. 15. So it'll be 15.
With the +3.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So 15 versus the 14. So our roll would have a +1.
Philip does add to it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just lucky that the Corsica's not adding extra strength.
True. Well, Sardinia and Corsica. Those rebels. Consuls in deliberation as whether they need to appoint a dictator or not this round. Will they consider the additional strength as being required, or will they be happy with the forces under the command of the field and/or Rome consul as well?
I think
looking at the combat results table, the odds aren't particularly great for a +1.
Yeah, agreed. I think looking at the results and knowing that we definitely need a naval victory this turn, I'm in agreement that we'll need a dictator to have a greater sense of victory.
That's right.
For the glory of Rome.
So, to summarise the strategy, I think if we intend on taking on the Sicilian pirates this turn, then we need a dictator.
Yes.
Yeah, I know my audio is scratchy. Thanks for those pointing it out. It's scratchy in my ear as well. When we have a break, I'll try to fix it.
Okay.
Then I think I'm on the mind because I think he's been Master of War. Actually, no, I guess he's got the loyalty of a legion. We've got Aemilius with a military rating 4, but he could be Master of Horse.
I just wanted to point out quickly, I was just looking at the disaster and standoff for the Lusitanian War since the Spanish Revolt, the second one's going to come up. If you look at the numbers in the chat, that's a lot, guys, to fight, next turn. Like, how many does 18? So 1.
Thinking a little bit ahead to the next turn, we do have a senator who perhaps is away from Rome at the moment, that not only removes disasters for the Third Punic War, but Spanish revolts as well.
Ah, perfect. Ignore my comment.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about during the start. So
So
All right, so that which just really confirms the course of action to address the Sicilian pirates this turn,
First.
probably
Yeah.
at sea and on land, I think.
Hmm.
I think we just need to go for it both. That's the first shot we get.
as well as because that's the drought effect, which has been hurting us for quite a few turns. That'll be a double whack being able to remove that. I'm of mind of setting Aemilius as the dictator.
I'd just like to note, obviously, if he wins, he gets some popularity, but the state of unrest is quite high. So the negative
Don't worry about the
popularity
state
was
of
high.
unrest.
All right.
And plus, if you want to put it that way, we have Fabius in the Odeity faction, who's also military 4.
Yes, but there are other reasons why I want to
Yeah,
keep.
but we
the
don't want to do
Aphrodite.
that. We don't want to put anyone in that faction in power. Yes, we know.
So I'm happy to hear your considerations, Tiberius.
Well, could we? Is it worth considering military rating 3 senators
Yes,
as well?
because I think it's clear.
That will get us to a +7.
It might be worth considering, but
I'd still consider Fabius.
No,
I'd still say
I don't
the
think it's
influence
+7.
is very concentrated anyway with Julius.
It'll get us to a +5.
+5 is still pretty scary. I think the +1 is
How does
still
it get
worth
to
it.
+5? So can we just
If we
look it up
use a
and say-
dictator with 4 and a master of horse with 3, that gets us to a total of 7. The current field console is 3, and that was a +1 just with the field console. So all you need to do is add the 4. That's a +5.
So that would be with 5 existing fleets, 7 new fleets for 12,
And the +7.
19.
And of course, like we were mentioning, that's reducing our treasury to basically the absolute minimum, which is always scary.
Yeah.
Which is why we'll probably
probably
need a bit to defeat the war this turn as well, if we can.
I think it would be worth ensuring that the dictator has a military strength of 4, and I would counsel any such dictator to take a master of horse with level 4 as well.
Okay, well, I think what you've laid out of Aemilius is probably the least worst option.
Agreed. Then in that case, as powers granted me by the Senate, I'll be appointing Aemilius as the dictator.
You're good, and the
Thank
field
you
console
very
does agree with that,
much.
doesn't he?
He does.
Excellent. Then I am happy that is legal and to the book. So Aemilius of
What number's Aemilius?
19.
19.
House of Incognita faction is now going to take on the dictator role and subsequently presiding magistrate. So first
my
of all, I
favourite
just want to
job.
make sure that Aemilius gets his influence. So that is
Yes,
a
there's a
+7.
21 total.
Very good. Wouldn't want you to miss out on that. 21 in total does sound correct to me.
Oh, look at that, already won.
And please take a moment to collect your thoughts. Pat yourself on the back for your dictator appointment. Speak to your knights, speak to your concierge and your posse, and formulate your
Just let me
thoughts
take
on your
a solid
proposals.
30-minute break.
I think there's going to be lots to think and discuss about this turn.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, a good time while the dictator is contemplating life. Everyone check their faction votes and faction influence tallies now. Again, and if you haven't done so in a while, perhaps update the faction vote tally and influence track as well. If you haven't done that recently, that might be good to update those too.
Too many bloody wars.
If you've just joined us on the channel, or if you're watching and you skipped to this point of the video on YouTube, perhaps the dictator has just been appointed. That is Aemilius, Senator 19 from the House of Incognita faction, curated by Quintus Octavius Gergus.
Yes, Alan, I will be doing that. I'm trying to decide best course.
Aha, there you go. And yes, good. The ever vigilant Mr. Alan Richborough, one of our rules experts, is just making sure that we're sticking to the regimen. And right, the dictator is now also considering his Master of Horse appointment. It's good. It brings me much comfort knowing there's people like Alan and Scott and a few others out there that are watching on as well, and helping keep the game on track. Because right, it is a fairly complex game, but the way that you guys, as a bunch of senators and players, have grown over the last 14 sessions is fantastic, and even you guys are correcting me now, which is a brilliant place to be. Maybe if the games continue, I'll become even more and more obsolete, which will be a good outcome, I'd say.
Oh, you can take over a faction.
Yeah, yeah, we could just throw in a new
House of
faction.
Julia magically resurrects.
Or perhaps like season 3 becomes a player. We get enough veteran players.
Right. All right, I'm going to have a bit of a scan of the field as well and take the crowd and the peanut gallery with me to see who the Master of Horse may be. You know, we've got the one senator in pre-Byzantium there, of course. Quite a few options in the Erudite faction there. All of good age and of good stock. Not many options there in the House of Incognita, of course, with Flaminus quite agely. Fortuna's Despair, there's at least 2 options. I think Manlius is just sneaking in under the elder age limit there. Achilles is a bit wrinkly. And Justin Marita has perhaps at least 1 option in Quinticus. So 1, 2 options, 3 options down the bottom half of the board, and a few more in the Erudite faction and pre-Byzantium. There we go. Okay. That's good. Take your time, Master of Horse. That is acceptable.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure to say if anyone has received a message, make sure to look at that.
Oh, there you go. Some private wheelings and dealings going on in the background. That's what I like to see. It's certainly one of the things I'd like to do post the end of this game with you all, is to sit down and find out about all the politics that were perhaps going on in the background. There are some truly amazing things that can occur in terms of Senate control because of background deals, and I'd love to learn about them once the game is finished, because even I, as the game master, am not privy to them, which is probably a good thing. That way I can't accidentally influence the outcome. So I'm always very encouraging of background wheeling and dealings. I think it's a very big component of this game. And it's a component that can actually draw out the length of the game, and if everyone's happy with it, that's not a problem. Certainly the games that I've played in the past have really, really drawn out in length of time, because we take lots of times to have backdoor meetings and discussions and closed room sessions. So.
Isn't it only basically Aemilius, Flaminius, and Fabius and Julius that have a military of 4?
Flaminius is not able to due to his age.
I think Fabius seems like a good choice. I mean, it's not that much influence really, but the 4 military.
Yeah, seems like
4 military obviously helps the bank, which is quite low. So
yeah.
Okay, discussion still ongoing in the background. That's okay, as the dictator still contemplates his Master of Horse appointment, which is, of course, solely his choice and under his discretion. And if I'm not mistaken, it cannot be denied either. So whoever is chosen as Master of Horse, provided they are an eligible member, they will have no choice but to accept. Most people I think I've seen so far have been willing to be Master of Horse. happy to serve the Republic. Lots of loyalists here, which is good.
But then decisions affect everyone as well too.
Mm-hmm. While we let contemplations go on, I'm going to run a quick 30-second commercial for the non-subscribers. So hang around, support the channel. For everybody that is a subscriber, you'll get to listen to my nefarious chatter, watch the wheelings and dealings, maybe hidden blooper reels. Subscriber-only content. I saw something ping. I think we've now hit a record with the longest deliberations for the Master of Horse appointment. So we'll tick that off as a new milestone.
Assassination. Quintius does an assassination attempt against Julius, the leader of the erudite faction.
Wow. Okay, we've heard an assassination attempt pop up.
I'm also playing a card.
Okay, he's also playing a card. He's going to drop it in the middle there. There it is. So I'm going to bring this up for everyone to have a look at. So first of all, we'll just double check Quintus is good. He's of age to be able to make assassination attempts. The target here being Julius. I suspect that some of us saw this coming. Let's bring that up for the viewers at home as well, and we can have a look here. So the assassin card, we can see here, I think we've seen this once before, so the support for an assassination plot is widespread. You'll get to add 1 to your 1d6 roll to help you get into the perhaps the upper echelon where the senator is killed and away from the disastrous court effects there. So I'll just pose a question. Is there any bodyguard cards, Marcoedia, that perhaps you want to play at this time if you've got them?
No bodyguard cards.
No bodyguard cards. All right, so look, it's a pretty simple position from here. I'm just going to go change the view for all the players at home, zooming in on this little small table down here, the assassination table. So as we can see here, the numbers that Quinticus wants is a 5 or a 6, noting he's got that +1 to the roll, and there are no bad omen effects out there, which is good. Also of perhaps an acceptable outcome, although perhaps not completely ideal, is that 3 or 4 number, no effect, but there's also subsequently no consequences. Where he wants to stay away from is the 1 and 2. Now, if he rolls a 2, that's not a problem because of that +1, but if he rolls a 1, then that'll perhaps still be a problem, but we'll see how the probability of the die roll goes today. So, over to you, Marcus Decimus, a 1d6 when you're ready, and we'll add the +1 to that result. It is a 4 +1 becomes a 5, so that is a successful assassination there. So we will see Julius successfully assassinated there with no other additional consequences for the assassin. So first of all, Marcus Decimus, if you'd like to pop that card on the discard pile, I'm just going to bring that to the front.
Yep, no worries.
I'll go up here and let's help Marcoedia. So unfortunately, despite his amazing results in the Second Punic War, we're going to see Julius assassinated secretly in the Senate proceedings. Yes, quite an interesting outcome here. So we're going to clear tokens off, and maybe Aurelius, if you'd like to help as well. The Land Commissioner card can go to the sandpit and go to the forum. Yes, the Allegiance markers can go back. And of course, now he's the faction leader, so we'll wipe all the tokens, but Julius will get to stay with the faction, which is good. So Julius doesn't have to move anywhere, but just all the other tokens will be cleared from here. So that faction leader token will be able to be reassigned at a later point. There we go. So if somebody wants to help put those tokens back, we'll take a brief moment just to do that, do a little bit of admin, and also give an opportunity to Marcoedia to update faction votes and faction influence as well.
Oh, don't worry, you won't have to change it as much because we'll be electing Fabius as Master of Horse.
Okay, and we also subsequently have a Master of Horse appointment come out of that, which is good to see. So if Marquetti, if you wanted to grab the Master of Horse tokens, or if you like, I'll bring those up for you. I can see it now on my radar. So Master of Horse, and there's the marker. All right. So Fabius is going to get a +3 influence for his appointment as Master of Horse. So he's going to go to 8 now. Make sure a number 8 token comes back for Fabius too.
You're so quick.
It was a very quick one. Quick stabby.
10.
As the rest of the Senate breathes a sigh of relief, perhaps.
So is it still 32 influence?
Let's have a look. Let's do a count. So I'm going to zoom in here. So we're going to note Fabius's new influence. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Is that what you said?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, good.
That's what
I
I
still
said.
got you as 32 influence here for the faction. All right. Good. All those tokens made it back. Thank you, Numerus Aurelius. Let's just make sure that Fabius gets his number 8 as well.
And the next appointment would be for a censor.
All right, let's. I just want to quickly update the faction votes for the Erudite faction as well. Let's confirm those. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Is that right? Yes. I've got 18 faction votes there now. So down, we only loss of 1 vote with that assassination, which is, I guess that's because Julius got to stay. From 19 to 18. Numerus Aurelius, if you could bring a number 8 over for Fabius, that would be really good.
Can do.
Oh, yeah, that would.
There's one coming, is there? Yes.
No, I've got an 18.
That's right, yeah. So Numerus Aurelius, you can bring that 8
over.
over for Fabius, yep. And the 18's coming for the votes, I see. Very good. Good job.
Let me know when we're all good to proceed.
Thank you for your patience, Dictator. I just want to make sure we get some good numbers.
You. Done.
Yes, we are done. Very good. All right, Dictator, your floor.
All right, censor appointment, because, nothing happened. I believe Junius from the pre-Byzantium faction would be a good select for censor. I would like to hear from the Erudite faction.
What number's Junius?
I believe, let me double check.
10, pre-Byzantium?
Yeah, 10.
Yep.
I have 18 votes in favour.
We'll go down to Fortuna's Despair.
11 in favour.
Justia Merito.
6 votes in favour.
Pre-Byzantium.
3 votes in favour.
And I'll put 5 votes in favour.
So it's unanimous for 44 votes. 43 votes.
You will just have to give me a minute, guys, to have a look at things.
Very good.
And then I will decide.
Perfect. All right, so an update for those in chat. Yes, we've just elected a censor now after the quiet and quick bloody assassination of Julius. History repeating itself, who knows? A little bit earlier in our republic, of course. I guess a very strong opponent and a potential threat there for the Senate, but has now been quashed, so the other senators are perhaps resting a little bit easier at night, getting away with that. And they moved on with the Senate, with the election of the censor now, with Junius of pre-Byzantium faction. Let's make sure that Junius gets his +5 influence as well while you're doing your deliberating there, Numerus Aurelius.
Yeah, I'll do it in just a sec.
Good. I don't want you to miss out. That's for sure. And of course, Junius was eligible for the censor election because of his prior console marker there, that green one. So he was in fact eligible. And he is now looking around the room making some assessment on the corruptions that are out there and whether he'll make some prosecutions. Of course, he's got a few choices into the number and types of prosecutions, and we'll see what he comes up with. What he is looking for is things like concessions and the corrupt portion revealed, which should be most concessions. I don't think there's any that will still be hidden, like shipbuilder or armaments, for example. Those, I think ships were built last turn, so we will see corruption on that marker. Any recently returned governors, which I don't think we have any, who took provincial spoils would also be up for a minor prosecution. And of course, anybody with a major marker is both open to a minor and major prosecution as well. So examples is Manlius and Achilles is open up to a minor or a major, and the likes of Aemilius and Flaminius on the House of Incognita. Plautius from the Erudite is open to a minor or a major as well.
Isn't that from last time, though? Should have I removed that?
No, that's recent, so that is acceptable. That was for when he was field consul, so
Yep.
no, that will still stay for Plautius at the moment. That is correct. Now, of course, the censor has a major marker, but he can't prosecute himself, so that's a bit redundant, but it's there for completeness' sake anyway, and certainly you wouldn't want to prosecute yourself. That would be a bit weird. I'm going to answer a question in chat. Let me do this now. There we go. So for those who are contemplating what may or may not, so prosecutions here. It's all about trial votes here, and we'll notice that an accused is freed if the total votes at the end are greater than or equal to 0. So the censor still deliberating, perhaps checking his notes and asking some questions of those around him, talking to his staff, which is good. Yes. The luck of assassinations, and successful ones of that, has been quite pronounced in this game for sure. It's, I think it's been a while, actually, since we've seen a prosecution. So it'll be interesting to see if the censor chooses to go ahead with any this round as he continues his thoughts.
Should just be 1 second.
Yeah, it's no rush.
I think my attempt was the last one, but I failed to get a prosecutor.
Yes, that's right. On an unaligned senator, a breakthrough in terms of rules for this game. I think. Yeah. Alan wants to point out that was a great time to have an assassin card. well played, I think, on that card from the Justia Marita faction. Perhaps a good one to have a bodyguard card too, but they are a bit few and far in between.
Decimus, I just asked you a question a few moments ago.
Oh, sorry.
Lots of discussion still happening in the background, which is fine. It's good to see lots of careful thought happening this session. That's good to see. I like the players taking time to consider all of their options and surveying the field of senators. All right, I'm just going to double check my devices as well.
Should hopefully just be a few more moments.
It's all right. Certainly no rush. And like I say, every session, yep, we are streaming, of course, but the streamers can pop in and pop out. Or the crowd can rather pop in and pop out as they please. I don't want us to rush this game because I like the thought that goes into it, and I think that makes the game just that more viable and interesting if you've got that opportunity to think about it. So certainly take your time. And look, if we don't finish where we normally finish because of time, that is okay and acceptable as well. There's no limits about when we finish either. That's perfectly reasonable. I can hear music here in background. It must be my TV. It's very, very nice, very classical. It's very, very relaxing. I don't think you guys can hear it, and I don't think the stream can hear it, but certainly relaxing here for me. And if it wasn't for an assassination attempt, it'd be a very pleasant Senate.
So we will move to prosecute Quintius of the Justitia Merita party.
I see, yes, due to a tax farmer 3 corruption, yes, Quinticus is an eligible minor prosecution.
Yep, so,
All right.
and I believe...
Are you happy to facilitate sense? Are you confident enough that you know what needs to take place and for me to overwatch?
I believe so. I do have the thing up here.
I mean, sure, everybody else has the rules and
I would
Alan's
value
there.
somebody. Yeah, I would like somebody to explain the process because I don't understand it.
Are you happy to do that as well?
Yeah, I can. Well, I can. Look, I got the guide here, so I'll read through it. So I guess first of all, before we start, is I will have a prosecutor to do the prosecution. I believe that Senator Aurelius of the Erudite faction is happy to fulfill that role. It's voluntary, of course, so Marky, you simply have to agree if that's all right with you.
Yes.
Yes, all right. And Marcus or Quintius also has the opportunity to have a advocate. So Marcus, I shall give the floor to you if you'd like to find someone.
Sure.
Or do it yourself, of course.
Then, in that case, I would beseech our great dictator himself if he would be willing to. Very well, then.
Not a chance.
So does that mean you'll defend yourself then, Marcus?
Most likely, I'll go with defending myself then.
Okay, self-advocate.
Okay, so
what's all that mean? Sorry, what are the benefits and disadvantages of doing either of those roles?
So obviously, as a prosecutor, you kind of need, you want to have high oratory to help the case because that's part of the calculation.
Right.
So obviously, you want to, I guess, kind of wheel and deal about it to make it a bit easier on your half. But it's also the same for the defendant. Since if they have a strong faction, if they don't have the oratory in their own, that can help back them up. So it's just that, obviously you can protect each other or help each other do prosecutions. So now that we've done that.
But is there like an influence payoff or something like that?
Yes. So the advocate can lose influence if they fail the prosecution, and the advocate also gains influence if they successfully defend the.
Complementary for the prosecutor as well. So if it's a successful prosecution, then the prosecutor will gain benefits. But if they, if it's an unsuccessful prosecution, then the prosecutor can lose benefits. Conversely. Right. So as Alan says, you basically can gain or lose 3 influence. Really.
Right. Okay.
I mean, there's some minor exceptions for a prosecutor doing well, but really it's plus or minus 3 influence.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so next. So should we do the calculations before we do the votes, Decimus?
Contrary to the order that I have it on our cheat sheet here, so those trial votes will occur after a Senate vote.
Yep.
And that is the way I interpret from the order in the rules there. So it seeks to have a Senate vote first, That'll give
I
you
believe
a
we will need
temporary
a
tally.
speech first.
Then the trial votes will occur. But you can conduct any oratory debate between your prosecutor and advocate at your leisure, Censor. That's up to you, the order that occurs, of course.
The
Okay,
dictator
so-
requests the censor to please hold a debate between these.
Yes, so I was going to humour the censor. Before we get to vote, I will let Aurelius of the Erudite faction do a prosecution argument, and Justitia Merita Quintus can provide a defence. So, Marco, if you would like, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Today, you see Quinticus. Quinticus has been part of the Senate for a long time now. And Quinticus understands that when somebody conducts themselves in a certain way, there is often repercussions for their behavior. In this case, there has been some things happening perhaps behind closed doors that you may not have seen. But the
Such as?
effects, assassinations.
No one actually
And-
knows that happens because it was a successful attempt, therefore there is no proof on that actually.
Yes, as the presiding.
So you cannot use that as an actual excuse.
As the presiding magistrate, I shall just quickly overrule dictator that, of course, the assassination is inadmissible evidence, so must be excluded.
Of course, in the court of public opinion, no rule of
That's-
evidence there.
That is true.
This is very true. This is very true. Well, we have seen a few lapses in judgment, thinking that to send to war perhaps somebody with insufficient military, thinking of trying to make things to control the balance of power in their favor, as opposed to doing what was better for the community. Also, repeated taking of corruption every single time as well too, we've seen. And also perhaps voting in ways that perhaps may not have been conducive to the smooth flowing of the Senate. Every person must face up to the consequences and take what is rightfully theirs, which sometimes is a slap on the wrist, which happens from time to time, to remind us of the natural balance of power. Thank you.
Will that
Boo,
happen? Will that happen?
Then if the censor is happy, I'll take the stand in my defense.
Yes, please go ahead, defendant.
Senators of the Senate, I've been brought upon you over these false charges. We've heard from the prosecutor attempting to poison the well with slanderous accusals of assassinations. These surely must be only been seen as a attempt to weasel these false charges against one as person as myself. We've heard talks about the smooth flow of power within the Senate. Is it not the right of each senator to place their votes where they see fit, in best ways for the heart of Rome? Senators of Rome, I ask you this: have I not done nothing but what is best for Rome? Have I done not what each of you have done in order to best put forward the strength of Rome? I've been accused of playing the field, of controlling power, hoarding and manipulating things in my own favor. I ask of you, look upon my own faction from which I come, not even the leader of said faction, yet a solely senator, much like yourselves. We do not hold the majority of power here. I perhaps ask you to cast your gaze upon the erudite faction from which the prosecutor stands, which a highly unfortunate assassination attempt did occur, yet such a faction continues to hold the vast control of power from within these great halls. Senators, I ask you now, do not judge from what you would have done yourselves. Do not judge from which the people of Rome ask us to do, which is to cast our votes for the glory of Rome. Thank you.
Wow.
Marcus.
Powerful speech.
I'm moved.
All right.
All right, Cicero.
Okay, so after we've heard those, we shall do a vote on the matter.
So
for
is
all
this
of
a
the
major
Senate.
or a minor prosecution, by the way?
Minor.
So this is a minor, yeah. All right, so I will call for the erudite faction to vote first.
I just want to confirm before this stage, am I allowed to wait till after the votes to call for a popular appeal, or is that
Popular appeal
before?
is done on your turn to vote.
Okay, thank you.
So
Should,
mark
I
it
be,
up.
should the scribe be recording these votes?
Yeah, if you don't mind, that would be good to get an accurate outcome of this. It's technically not a proposal, but it is. But it'd be good to have that on record if you're willing to.
Yeah,
take
no worries.
notes.
Who's the prosecuting? Is it Aurelius?
Alias. Yes.
Thank you.
And it's 18 votes in favour.
For prosecution.
Yeah, you need to be very articulate here as to if you're voting for prosecution or against prosecution. Make it nice and easy and help us with the tallies.
House of Incognita.
1 second while I just look over something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's spice this up. Aurelius would like to make an assassination attempt on the censor.
All right, so let's just double check that we tick all the boxes. So first of all, let's check to make sure that faction has not been attempted assassination attempt against turn. Check, we were okay there. Let's make sure that House of Incognita has not made an assassination attempt this turn. Check, we're okay there. Let's check the age of the assassinator, which was it Aurelius?
Aurelius is age 3.
Aurelius, age 3, current faction leader of the House of Incognita, is eligible, is not an elder senator right now, so is in fact eligible to make an assassination against the censor Unius, sitting there in the pre-Byzantium faction. Right, so we're all on board here so far. I'll just ask cards from either side of the house.
No cards.
No cards, anything from you pre-Byzantium?
No.
All right, I'm just going to update my view for all the players at home. Boy, what an amazing session that's happening right here today. Knives, Yu-Gi-Ohs, daggers flying everywhere. Zooming in, House of Incognita trying their luck again. Having seen the successful outcome of somebody else doing an assassination attempt, they thought, well, the luck is flowing. So
I didn't see anything. It never happened.
Let's give it another whirl. So, what we're going to ask of now of Aurelius of the House of Incognita is to simply roll a 1d6, and we will assess the outcome from there based on the assassination table.
This is the one I'm going to regret it.
Here we go. It is a 4. No effect. So nothing has happened. The Yu-Gi-Oh does not land home. And the proposal, or the current prosecution as is, continues. Back to you, Censor.
Yep, so House of Incognita, we're still waiting on your votes.
Yeah, that would be 5 votes against the prosecution.
Thank you. Fortuna's Despair.
Look, I was moved by the defence speech, and I think there was a lot of truth to it, as I also found the prosecution to be skillfully conducted and well-intentioned. What I'm chiefly voting for is the axis of evil that is developed across the horizontal centre of this forum, and so therefore I shall be placing 11 votes in favour.
11 votes in favour of the prosecution.
and Justitia Marita.
All right. In that case, I will also be going for a popular appeal.
Okie dokie. So, on their turn to vote, I'm going to bring up the popular appeal table. We're going to zoom in on that table there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change everybody's view so everybody else can see this as well, the senators. So just bear with me while we do the change so you can all see what the same thing that we're looking at. And of course, you can confirm my calculation. So you're now looking at...
I'm just going to call for an assassination.
Wow, okay, let's check for eligibility. So first of all, the assassination attempt is coming from the Erudite faction. They have not conducted an assassination this round. That is eligible. Who is your target?
So the target is Flaminius.
All right, so going over, look, Flaminius is in fact from the House of Incognita. They have not been the target of an assassination attempt this round. Now, who is the actual assassinator from the Erudite faction?
So it is Aurelius.
Okay, that is Aurelius. So let me just double check. And now, Aurelius is not currently eligible as an assassinator because of his age. Is there somebody else that you had in mind?
automatically fails.
Whom?
Somebody
How
that's
old do they
less than
have to
7.
be? How
It
old
has
do
to
they
be
have
6 or younger.
Correct.
6 or younger. Okay, so
Sure, Torrentius can do it.
By all
Terentius
means,
is
you can
able to
just
do it.
forget about this.
Terentius.
Is that your choice,
Yeah.
Trentius?
Terentius, yep.
All
And I have a card as well.
You have a card as well. If you'd like to play that into the sandpit somewhere, and we'll confirm that card. And likewise, offer the House of Incognita to play any cards if they wish.
Oh, I will be.
All right, so let's just, I see 2 cards here. We'll both review them both. So if you flip them over at your leisure, ladies and gents. I'll read the offending card first, and then I'll read the defending card to make sure we're all on the same page. All right, I'm going to drag that card a little
Is
bit.
my card there or not?
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
You've
Let's
got it?
flip that over. Flip card. All right, so here's the first one. This card I think we've all seen before, folks. Support for assassination attempt. Pretty much the moral of the story is it's a +1 to the roll. But we're going to have a read of a defending card that's popped out here in response to the assassination attempt. It's a secret bodyguard card. And reading this one, it says playable after any assassination attempt resolution on one of your senators to reduce the result by 1, and then we'll discard after use. Now, the subtext here is if the assassin is not caught, then regardless of the original result, an additional roll must be made per secret bodyguard played just to try and catch the assassin. The re-rolls use the original roll modifier and any killed result is ignored. So what this means is we're actually going to see 2 1d6 rolls. The first roll by the assassin will determine the outcome. If the assassin is not caught in that, as usually a kill or a not caught, then there will be a second 1d6 roll where kill results are ignored to determine if the assassin is actually caught. So it's perhaps a more riskier maneuver now for the assassin now that the card has been played. Any disagreements from what I've read out so far? All right, so let's go change my view, and we're going to zoom in on that assassination table. So there's going to be no modifiers on this 1d6 coming from Terentius of the Erudite faction. This is amazing. Lots of assassination attempts. So Terentius and Marcoedia, when you're ready, if you'd like to roll a 1d6, and let's see what happens. A 4. So currently that is a result of no effect. But as we alluded to, there is an additional roll because of the secret bodyguard card. So we need to roll again here. And I'm actually going to get the defendant or the no longer victim, I guess, from the House of Incognita faction to roll this 1d6 to determine whether that assassin is killed.
Not at all.
Well, according to this,
that would
one
be.
is caught. So the assassin here was actually caught because of that.
No, I thought it would be the 5 or 6. That would be...
So a 5 and a 6 is ignored, so the kill result is ignored again. So what you're looking for here is a court. So that is a positive outcome for the House of Incognita. So even though the assassin did
Special
not land the blow,
prosecution.
the assassin was still caught because of that secret bodyguard card. Right, so first of all, I'm going to clean some house. We're just going to move some cards to the discard pile. Move that to the front as well. All right, now, who would like to read out the section on a court prosecutor
Punishment?
from the rules?
A court assassin is killed, which we are ignoring. So, in addition, his faction leader loses 5 influence, and if he is in Rome, this is immediately subject to a special major prosecution in which he must take a popular appeal. However, instead of modifying the popular appeal, his role must be by his own popularity, and he must subtract the popularity of the target senator.
Right, so
if the target
there's lots
senator's
going on there.
yeah.
First of all,
It's a long rule.
let's just double check, zooming in here. So on the bodyguard card again, so if the assassin is not caught, then regardless of the original result, an additional roll is made per secret bodyguard. So we did that. Just to try and catch the assassin. The re-rolls use the original roll modifier, and any killed result is ignored. So, as we see here, that the caught assassin is in fact killed. So let's deal with that first. So Terentius, because he has now been caught by that second die roll, he will now die and end up in the Curia because he is not a faction leader. So let's clear the tokens off Terentius to begin with. And Terentius will go to the Curia because it's not a natural death. He'll go behind all the other senators. So let me just make a... Thank you. Modifier on him, a right click on him, and send to back because he'll go behind all the other family cards there. Okay, so he's now in the Curia. All right, and if you want to read out that first step very slowly on the next part there.
His faction leader loses 5 influence.
Okay, is that immediately loses 5 influence?
Straight away, it says right in the rules, an assassin is caught. In addition, his faction leader loses 5 influence, and if he is in Rome, he's immediately subjected to a special prosecution.
All right.
Which he must make a popular appeal.
All right, so he'll go down to 0 influence. So that 0 that's popped in there is good. So if we're going to pop that 0 on Julius's card as the faction leader of the assassin. So yes, right, Julius goes to a minimum of 0 influence now, which is good. That one's done. And right, he's now the subject of a special major prosecution, which currently interrupts the flow of the current prosecution, from what I understand. So we've got our
mistrial.
notes. We've got a note, so now the censor's got to conduct...
prosecution is as well. It's also held by the highest ranking available officer.
So, I'm just trying to understand here. At what point did the? I guess it doesn't matter. So we're just in the middle of votes. So did I not call for mine? So it doesn't.
So that'll still be ongoing. We'll come back to that. So now we've got to take on this special major prosecution because of the court assassination attempt. So the censor will still preside over the prosecution here, and as we heard, the faction leader is forced to take a
censor prosecution. Yep.
Sorry, what was that?
Censor is prosecutor. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The censor is the presiding magistrate for this. Rather, is the terminology that we want.
Yeah.
And Julius here, as the faction leader, is forced to take a popular appeal. When it comes time for their turn to vote, and that outcome is calculated into the result. So it runs like a normal prosecution. I think is that correct, Quintus Octavius?
No, it does not.
You want to read out those components?
A prosecutor is not selected for the major prosecution.
Right.
Influence of the accused is counted as normal. A major prosecution only temporarily suspends the current proposal. The proposal continues afterwards. If possible, if the faction leader is found guilty, he is killed, and the family card belonging to the faction leader goes to the bottom of the Curia.
Assuming they're not faction leader, right?
No, if the
they are faction leader, yes,
is killed,
yes,
and the family cards goes to the bottom of the Curia,
right?
Even if they are faction leader.
The special case, yes, good. Good.
In addition to his own death, a number of mortality sheets equal to the popularity, if positive, are drawn, and the members of the assassination faction currently in Rome whose chits are drawn also implicated and killed. If the assassination is caught and the faction leader is automatically killed, and any family cards belonging to the faction leader goes to the bottom of the Curia.
All right, so let's take that one step at a time. So we'll go run the trial first, noting we don't appoint a prosecutor. Now, the question that I have at the moment is if an advocate is still able to be appointed. Is that clear in what you read there?
Advocate? There is nothing about any advocates.
I thought it sounded like it was just a popular appeal roll that you did.
It says the special prosecution where he must make a popular appeal.
Yeah, so there'll still be a normal vote, but if you don't have a prosecutor, then you can't do trial votes per se.
Instead of modifying maybe we need to read the special prosecution.
And certainly Alan is suggesting that if there's no prosecutor, there's not going to be an advocate, so there's going to be no advocate. It's been updated in the next version for clarity.
That would be why it does not say. Thank you, Alan.
That's good. Yes, thanks to Alan. So that clears it up and that removes that step. So right, over to the censor now to conduct I guess, a standard vote here, noting that when we get to Marco
The
Edia's
voting is different.
turn, we're going to do a popular appeal.
Like the how the popular appeal works is different to normal.
Sure, we'll take a good note of that when we get to that point. So that's good. I'm glad you're following that. Okay, so Censor, over to you.
So I guess I shall call for votes then. Marco,
You
would
just
you like
go
to vote?
Hang on,
no,
I just need to
that's
set
it.
up the.
Sorry.
Just need to set up.
Yeah, well, go for me first, because then it just
Uh,
goes straight to the table. 18 votes against the prosecution.
Is that your desire, Censor?
So
to
who's
go
conducting
straight
the
to
prosecution?
Censor.
The
Nobody.
censor is.
Censor.
So who's that?
No, I'll leave
Aurelius?
it last then, I guess.
I believe the censor is
Junius.
Junius,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's number 10.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll start with the House of Incognito then.
I would like to put my 5 votes in favor of killing her.
He's male.
Him, the faction party leader, group controllee is a female.
For Junius to spare.
So sorry, I'm just still catching up. So we're at 18
that's right.
against.
No, just leave,
do
just
not worry about Marco
yeah.
yet.
Okay, right. Sorry. So we've had.
Yeah.
So it's just 5 from
5,
House of
4.
Incognito.
5-4, yes.
And up to you.
Okay, so this for too long this place has seen political disputes satisfied with blood, and it's a stain on the honour of all of us. So as much as I understand Erudite's motivations in drawing to the knife, I must stand on the honour of our house and on the principle, and to vote in favour of the prosecution.
Justitia Merita.
I think Tiberius has well stated, I think, most senators' thoughts at this stage. I'll place my 6 votes in favour of prosecution.
Pre-Byzantium will cast 3 votes against the prosecution. And Erudite faction.
Gets no votes.
So
Goes
before,
straight to a
Yes,
popular
before
appeal.
Erudite is able to cast their votes, we've got to do that little popular appeal rule first. So if you could slowly read that out again, Quintus Octavius.
Okay, however, instead of modifying the popularity by adding his own, it must be subtracted of the target senator. It's rule 1.09.74.
I'd like to bring
if
this
you would
up
like to
too and have a squeeze for
Yeah.
my own rule. Sorry, what was that number? Rule
1.09.74.
1.74. There it
I think that'll help them a lot, right? Because subtracting
Yeah. I
negative
think so.
9.
All right, so he
I
will
think
take
2
a
negatives make a positive, right? Math?
right. So he will take a popular appeal, but instead of modifying the popular appeal roll by their own popularity, which is 0 anyway, he must subtract the popularity of the target senator, which is weird because it's -9, right? So it's actually going to have the opposite effect of what the defending is hoping for here. So if the target had a
I don't
negative
know. Math
popularity, it
says
is
2
added to the roll.
negatives is a positive.
What's that? Sorry.
Exactly.
Math says 2 negatives is a positive, therefore
Only when you
we
multiply
should
them.
So you
add
see the,
nine.
see the rule there says it'll add to the roll. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's -9. Is that right?
Yes. It's
Yeah. All right. So that'll be a +9 to the popular popular appeal table. So if we, I'm going to zoom in, change everyone's view again here, so we can have a look
Come
at
on,
that popular
Alan, you
appeal
should be on my side.
table together. All right, here we go there. So you can see the popular appeal result is in the middle. All right, we're ignoring the blue trial result for the moment. So we're going to roll a 2d6, and we're going to go +9 to that result, and that will add to the roll. So there's the 2d6 coming out of Marco Eddie is 6. 6 + 9 is
15.
15. Now, what are the other caveats in regards to the popular appeal there? Quintus Octavius?
Popular appeal. So if the target had negative popularity added to the roll, yeah. Even if there's no faction leaders, below censor popularity. If it just says if they're found faction leaders found guilty, that's it.
All right. So as far as I see here, we add the 6 + 9 takes us well off into the accused freed section. Now, if there's no other rules as prohibiting that, then in this case here, the faction leader is now let off.
The crowd storms the courts, casting the senator upon their shoulders and marching them out.
So I believe, everyone should change their votes against the current prosecution that's happening.
We should note that this is Julius the Younger, whose father was simply assassinated previously by an unknown benefactor. So perhaps it's a kind of karmic justice. The people actually don't believe the ploys of these unnamed assailants in the alley.
But when you think about it, the assassin who just got caught was claiming that people are trying to use power to their advantage, yet they're trying to kill a faction with less power than their own.
Order in the court, please, as the censor.
All right, so I think we've wrapped that up. Are we happy with that, censor?
Yes, that is.
I didn't follow half of that, so
justice was done.
Now, hang on. One of the things that was just been pulled up there by Alan is that there might be some mortality chits that needs to be drawn against the censor. So if we look at that special rule for an accused that's being freed, zooming in there, you can see that with the 3-star points on accused free, we have to draw a number of mortality chits versus the censor.
And also it says in the bottom in the popular appeal table, final verdict is popular appeal plus the influence plus the Senate votes.
So
plus trial votes.
Don't worry about the trial votes. We're not worried about those. Well, I guess the number I'm looking for is how many mortality chits need to be drawn now. Is that the outcome of the roll?
Mortality chits.
What does the rule say there?
Where's mortality chits?
1.09.421.
In addition, if guilty.
No, accused freed.
Accused freed.
Look at 1.09.421. That's popped up from Alan.
421.
Yep. Good run. We could have missed there, but right. Essentially, what this is representing here is clearly this was such a setup that the peanut gallery is angry, and then the censor is potentially eligible to be attacked because apparently of the frame up.
Oh, good times.
If there was a prosecutor, then the prosecutor would also be susceptible to this as well under this popular appeal. So we'll just wait for Quintus Octavius to confirm, I think against 1.09.421, about how many mortality chits are drawn against the censor.
Yeah, I just want to also have a look at the popular appeal table just in case we have done it wrong as well.
Yep. I like confirmations.
A senator accused, blah, 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 modifies his... All negative votes are added to the votes for conviction. All positive votes are gained to the votes against conviction. Accused, killed, means blood. Yep. Yeah,
we don't need to worry about that. That's okay.
In addition, one mortality chit is drawn for each number of which exceeds 11 on the modified roll if either the censor or prosecutor are only two. Yeah.
Is that the bit we want?
So, in addition, one mortality chit is drawn for each number which exceeds 11 on the modified roll in order to see if the censor or prosecutor.
Good. So what was our total?
That's why I want to check the prosecution table, the popular appeal table, just in case. So the final verdict with popular appeal is popular appeal plus the accused influence.
No, that's okay. We don't need to worry about that because we hit accused freed. So when we hit accused free margin, it just ignores everything else. So all we need to worry about now is how much we are in exceedance of the 11 on the table. In this case here, Alan's done the math for us, which in this case was 4. So we had 15, and the difference with 11 comes out to be 4. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
So we're going to see 4 mortality chits drawn to see if the censor survives. All good?
Can the accused draw
Just a quick second. Just a quick second, if that's right.
Yeah, it's all right. Take your time, and I'll allow the censor to draw their own death cards. So I'll just let the censor collect his thoughts for a moment. That's fine. Have some final discussions, maybe.
Mortality chits go up to?
You're going to do 4 today. So if you'd like to draw them slowly, one at a time, we'll just check numbers. What's your ID number of your
No, sorry. What do they go up to? What's the range of numbers on them?
So the ID, well, the numbers on the the death chit tokens represent a number of each senator that is available in the game.
And how many senators are there available?
So it'll be more than what you see on the table because there are senators that come out in each era.
So it goes to at least 25.
Yeah, I think there's at least 20 senators just in the early republic. 30 is the number. There you go. There's 30 of them. Plus there are nuns and draw 2s, etc. in the pile as well. What's your number?
It's 10.
It's 10.
I
So
guess
you
I'll
don't want
roll
to
on
draw a
then.
10 out of these 4 death checks.
Why did I say 30? What's going on?
How many senators there are?
All right, first one is a none. That's a good one.
Mm.
Right, next one is a 2. That's all right. That's a good one as well. 17. None. You're all right.
Rigged.
The crowd lets you live.
Okay, so we can consider this done.
Yeah, we are done with
Yeah.
the special major prosecution. That was the first one, I think, for this game, was it?
Yes.
Yep.
Very good. Interesting exercise for us all.
Scriber, if I may ask, do you have the votes for the Justitia Merita party? Or not?
For the original
For
prosecution.
the original prosecution.
So this is the minor prosecution. We had the tallies as they currently stand.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
we have,
who last voted, so I guess. yeah, you
so
can
last
read them all.
votes were me for 11 in favour.
Okay. Yep.
Would you like to
Uh,
change this?
No, so I shall call for pre-Byzantium, 3 votes in favour of prosecution, and I shall move on to Justitia Merita.
At this
So
stage,
maybe his votes are null since he tried an assassination attempt.
No one
I-
knows that.
no, yeah. It's like, what's this
It's Mark
gamey
William,
out
who
of
everyone
game
knows.
knowledge?
Everyone knows.
I
Mark
call
Aurelius
upon the
faction.
game master to clamp down on this.
I called for votes and someone interrupted.
It's
so.
not my prosecution. I'm not censor.
Yes. Marcus,
Um,
please put yourself in order.
I'm appealing to a popular appeal.
All right. So before Marcus Decimus will officially issue his votes for his section, he will undertake a popular appeal, and he can assess that outcome to make any other determinations before he advances with his votes. So I'm going to zoom back in on that table again for our views here. So what is the popularity of the defendant?
2.
+2.
Correct.
Very good. So this will get added to the 2d6 roll, and provided we don't see an accused killed or an accused freed, those number of votes as it articulates there will go to the correct column. So if we see a positive amount of votes, that will actually go to the against column, all right? And if we see a negative amount of votes, that goes towards the for prosecution column. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And you can see that because of the accused killed means they're guilty, accused freed means they were not guilty, and you get let off. And that's certainly how I like to think of it in my head, is that for and against column, as opposed to trying to come up with a single number, which I sometimes find confusing. But provided that our scriber is happy with his notes,
I'm totally lost, so tell me anything at the
just-
moment.
I'll tell you what he's
we'll do a
making a
recap
second.
after we do the popular appeal, just to make sure we got. But for you, certainly, there, Tiberius Cornelius, if you've just got 2 columns with the votes for and the votes against right now, and we'll tell you which votes go into which, and then I guess that'll help us with the outcome, right?
Yeah, so the votes for total 32,
Mhm.
and the votes against 5.
The votes against prosecution, i.e. the defendant is innocent, is 5 votes, and the votes for prosecution, i.e. guilty, is, what did you say, 32 currently, and we're about to potentially see a modifier of that because of the popular appeal, as well as potentially Justitia Merita's actual votes will also be added to that potentially too. So not to mention influence, which is another factor. We'll get there shortly as well. All right, so let's actually go ahead and do this popular appeal. So did you actually want to make any physical remarks, I think, Marcus Decimus, to the people before you do your roll?
I can attempt to. People of Rome, as we can see that there has been many underhanded tactics that has been brought upon the Senate floor. Some of you agree to it, some of you don't. We've certainly seen a rambunctious crowd run into the halls before. I beseech you to do it again. All right, thank you.
Very good. All right, go ahead and roll your 2d6. We'll add 2 to that and see what we get. 3 plus 2 is 5, and you see there 5 is minus 8 votes. So for you, Scriber, you're going to add 8 votes for the for prosecution column, i.e. he's guilty.
Right.
Everybody happy with that outcome? Well, except the defendant, of course.
Yeah.
Now, with that knowledge, it's back to the Justia Marita faction for, I guess, further deliberations and, I guess, casting of the vote or any other actions that they want to take at this point.
I vote 6 votes against the prosecution.
Okay, so Scriber, I guess if you want to read the final numbers for and against.
This is not the final numbers.
No, that's all right. It's perfectly
yes.
fine to get an update. That's okay.
All right.
So it's currently 40 to 11.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that's the Senate portion done. All right, so we are going to add the influence of the accused against the prosecution.
Good.
So that is currently 13. So Scriber, if you could please add that to the against the prosecution column.
Yep.
All right. So next part, we will work out the advocates and prosecution.
What is called the trial votes.
Trial votes, yes. So for this, we will get the oratory of the advocate, which is 2. And we will negative the oratory of the prosecutor, which is 4. Does it go negative, or that just goes to 0?
I'd imagine
Who
it'd have
was
to
the
go
prosecutor
negative. Right?
again?
Goes to negative? Yep.
Yep.
All right.
I think
So-
that makes sense.
So that's -2. And it's a 2d6 on the trial appeal.
Now, I believe it's the
Table.
advocate that rolls this 2d6 as per the rules.
I think that makes
Wait,
sense.
so
Since
who
the
was
defendant got a.
prosecutor again?
What's that, sorry?
Who was the prosecutor? Just so I
That
know.
was
Alias.
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 All right, yeah, Alias, all right.
Yeah, good. He's still
Yep,
alive.
So, prosecutor, I guess that's Alias. That's your marker. If you'd just like to roll a 2d6.
So, sorry, I think it was
No.
the advocate that rolls.
The-
Yes, as per the
advocate.
rules, I believe it's
Marcus
the
rolls.
advocate that gets
Okay.
to roll the dice. In this case,
Yeah.
it'll be the defendant.
Okay.
7 minus the 2, so another -8. So 8, for
Would be
the
5.
prosecution.
Oh, sorry, yes.
5, yeah. So that's, 8 for the prosecution. I think that's everything, correct?
Yeah, so it'd be the popular appeal votes versus the accused influence, plus the Senate votes, plus the trial votes.
So,
So
yeah, I guess
now we can just compare the columns, correct?
right. Essentially, that's essentially what's happening. Or you could do it the way that Quintus Octavius has also suggested, in that if you get a 0 or above in number, that will be accused freed. If it's a negative number, it'll be accused prosecuted.
It's negative for the prosecution plus the number
Right.
against it. So I guess, Scribe, if you would like to do that calculation and just read us the final number, please.
48 for guilty, 21 for innocent.
So that's a -27, I believe.
I got a 24 against the prosecution. A 5 vote plus a 6 vote plus 13 for influence.
Oh, you're right. Yes, my bad adding up.
So that's just was that 20? That's 24 then. Still -24, correct?
That's right.
Yep. So
like
the
the accuracy, that's
prosecution is therefore successful. So, as part of that, so the negative for the accused, so he immediately receives, in a minor prosecution, -5 popularity and -5 influence, maximum of 0, and loses prior consul marker and any concessions, and -3 to the advocate.
So thankfully, there's
-3
no
influence.
advocate penalties here because there
yeah.
was no
Okay,
advocate.
okay.
So it's just a -5 influence for Quinticus and then -5 popularity. As we see, the concession goes back to the forum. Now, that prior console marker's got to go somewhere. Who wants to tell me about that?
I believe it goes to Curio.
Yeah,
Or
just
like the
disappears.
metal table, sorry. The sandpit.
So I'd like somebody to read the section about the reward that the prosecutor gets on a successful
wait, yeah.
prosecution.
They get it, don't they?
Somebody wants to read that out?
I don't know if this is correct.
It'll be in a
Prosecutor
separate
gains
section there
half.
somewhere.
Don't know. No, this is the major one. It's not the prosecutor gains half of influence.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Sorry, it's in the same section as the major prosecution. It says prosecutor gains half of the influence lost by the accused, rounded up, and prior console marker, if any. To read the green bit as well. May elect.
Yeah, that's all relevant.
So statesmen may elect for exile before vote.
Not relevant here for that. We didn't have any statesmen.
I don't think it matters then. So it's just the prosecutor gains half of the influence that was lost, which was 5, and rounded up to 3, and the prior console marker.
All right, so let's make sure the prior console marker makes it to the prosecutor. Who was that prosecutor again? Alias.
That was Alias.
All right, so Alias gets a prior console marker for doing a good job as prosecutor, and we're going to see an influence bump for Alias as well. If Nemurius Aurelius, perhaps if you want to assist with
I've got a 9. It's only 3 that he gets?
Yeah, it should go to 5. I can do it in a second.
Well, I thought he had influence of 6.
Alias.
Only how much I lost though.
You lost 5, rounded up 2.5.
Yeah,
correct. It's a bit of a funny way, but right, he only lost 5.
Yeah,
now,
so
where that
I had 3.
Yeah, so that's
good, got it. Yeah.
Where that changes is if it was a major prosecution.
Wasn't he on 6? I just got a 9.
I see him on 2. Alias.
He's on 2.
No, that's just because I took it off.
Oh, so what
that's
was
because I was changing it over myself.
Oh, okay, so he was on 6. Okay, yep.
He was on 6, yeah.
Good.
And
that's clarified.
And your faction influence goes up by 5 to 32. I'll go 3 for you.
So where that influence of 3 would be different, of course, is if it was a major prosecution and the defendant was executed, then half of the lost influence in that case would have been 13. So we would have seen a greater number of influence halved, rounded up, go to the prosecutor in that case. But it was only minor. It was only a loss of 5, half that rounded up. In this case, it's that 3 that Alan referred to earlier.
Actually, they do not receive the prior console marker or concessions.
They receive the prior console marker.
Nope.
That's what I've got in the cheat sheet. It says
in Rule 1.9.0, not 0.441, I'll post this into the roll.
Yeah, do that. 1.44.
There you go. I just posted into the table.
Let's double check that. Minor prosecution consequence. If convicted, the accused loses 5. We did that, and becomes negative 5 influence. We did that. Any prior console marker. Rush return all concessions of 4, and that's fine. But you've got to read the section for the benefits of the prosecutor.
That was just that one done.
So we're all still happy with that outcome.
Yes, just clarifying that would happen just in case.
Yeah. So that part of the rule is telling us that of course, the defendant in that case loses all those things, but in this case here, the prosecutor gets to pick up that +3 influence and that prior console marker. All right. What an exercise, eh? That's fascinating to see those prosecutions go down.
Very long sentence.
Holy dooly. Right, back to your floor, Sensor.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, it's okay. Right. Take your time. Have your discussions. This is an important time. It can be very critical to outcomes. So, yes, I'm pleased that there are discussions taking place. Also, equally pleased that people are looking through those rules, having an understanding, and great effort by the scriber to take all of these notes with all these numbers flying around. So, well done.
Yeah, just don't overpraise the scriber. He may have stuffed it up entirely.
No. As long as there's some record, that's okay. I mean, I've been impressed with your effort so far. All right, if you've just joined us in chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, we've just seen the conclusion of a minor prosecution against Quinticus of the Justia Marita faction. He was unable to get let off and has subsequently taken the influence and popularity hit there and lost his concession to the forum. And, of course, Alias, as the prosecutor, picked up some perks for volunteering for that prosecutor post. The censor at the moment is deliberating as to whether he'll exercise his option for another minor prosecution. Already we've seen quite an activity having to do a special major prosecution with the assassin court from the Erudite faction, and Julius as a faction leader undergoing prosecution there, but he was let off, being freed by the people with a popular appeal. So interesting outcomes
Sansa,
all around.
by the way, how much popularity did the prosecution get?
3.
No, there was no popularity for the prosecutor.
Oh, no, I only got 3 influence, no popularity.
Sorry,
Do I
not
get any
popularity.
popularity?
Three of influence. Yeah,
Yep, correct.
3 influence.
Yep.
But I didn't get any popularity.
That is correct.
No.
But great questions being asked by all of our senators. That's very good.
So on the prosecution front, we will rest the case now and give the floor back to the dictator.
All right, let's pass over that presiding magistrate plaque back to the dictator. There we go. Thank you, Sensor. That was exciting. I look forward to watching this episode again in the future.
Welcome back, guys. Great sessions. So, that just happened.
When do we have a toilet break?
If the presiding magistrate wishes so, we could do one very shortly.
I'll finish off with the governors and then we'll go to, because this is the final mandatory.
All right, there we go. Presiding magistrate making the announcement that we'll take a short break after the final mandatory piece in the Senate sequence, which will be the appointment of governors or the election of governors. And we see there's actually 3 on the table there under deliberation. A revived one from a war and 2 new ones in the Iberian Peninsula.
So first of all, I would like to say we need to recall Cornelius, as his abilities to nullify the disaster and standoff in the Third and Spanish revolts only on their cards, not the leaders, will help us quite a bit, and we'll need that for the round. So I believe recalling him and replacing him.
Can I play Tribune?
No, you can't, because I'm dictator.
It can play a Tribune if it is to announce a proposal.
So,
sure, if it's a proposal,
yeah,
you can't veto anything.
No, to make a governorship proposal. I can do that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It's eligible right now. There's not a proposal on the
You're
floor as
allowed
of yet.
that.
Perfect. So I guess I'll drop my Tribune in the middle.
Thank you.
I'll flip it over.
It'll be good for us to confirm. Yes, it is.
All right. So, yep. So I would like to propose that we send Quintius of the Justitia Merita party to Hispania Citerior as governor. So,
For what reasoning?
But I guess he doesn't need to technically.
the reasoning is of my own.
As presiding magistrate, I would like reasoning.
Do I have to answer that, Jim?
Technically, no, because the proposal still has to go ahead because it is a valid proposal.
Well, yeah, the proposal can go ahead, but I want reasoning.
Yeah, that's a reasonable request from the PM. Yeah.
This might change how people vote.
I simply had a Tribune card, and I thought that Hispania Soteria could use a governor. I thought that Justitia Merita has been unfairly prosecuted in his time here, so perhaps a vacation would be.
So if you think he's been unfairly prosecuted, why did you vote for the prosecution?
We hear a card's being played. What's the cards that is being played right now?
I will come and flip it.
Okay, the card's being played in the middle. Holy dooly, all right. Murder of a Tribune.
I can't see the card. Where is it?
I'll bring it up for everybody. Hang on. Here we go. It's called A Murder of a Tribune. Let's read this out nice and slow. So one of your senators in Rome may attempt to cancel the use of any one tribune by rolling an even result on a 1d6. Now, regardless of the result, that senator is under suspicion and loses popularity equal to that die roll. And this does not stop another tribune from being played for the same purpose. What they're suggesting is that exact same proposal could come out again with another tribune card. Now, if the targeted tribune is to make a proposal, the attempt must be made before any votes are called. Okay, so
no votes have been called.
Quinticus
under
is
suspicion.
doing this himself.
So what this is going to do is it's going to essentially veto the Tribune card, but as a result, he's going to take a popularity heat equal to the die roll, assuming he gets a positive die result. Do I understand that correctly?
And
Yes.
even result.
Even, yeah.
Even result.
What did I say?
Even result.
Positive.
Positive. Thank you. It should be even. I mean,
I like the DM's rule better. Positive. Yes.
okay. Right. So which senator is
most
doing
ask,
this?
this simply cancels the Tribune, correct?
Only if
it
has
is a
successful roll.
even.
Yeah, it's not.
Even
Well,
number.
it says
No,
murder of a
even.
Tribune, so I'm not being killed.
Yeah, no, it's only
No,
a
no,
Tribune
no.
card. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all senators here.
Correct.
We're not sim.
Correct.
More blood spilled on the
We're
floor
not
of the Senate.
assassination. We're not assassins like
They
the
could have
Iraqi faction.
maybe exile of a Tribune would be more appropriate.
Right.
I don't name the cards.
So let's ask
So
the
whom
pertinent
is
question
rolling?
here. Which
I will be rolling.
senator is murdering the Tribune?
Quintus himself.
Quintus himself is murdering the Tribune. So let's roll that 1d6 and let's see if you get a even number, which you do.
I do get an A.
So that Tribune is now cancelled, but now you need to -2 popularity from Quintus's card. And I shall move the murder of a Tribune card to the discard pile. What a fascinating card that was.
I vote that we sell this episode to HBO to make a TV show.
Documentary, how people work online.
All right.
Well, that works in my favor anyway. So anyway, as I was stating earlier, unless anyone would like else to play a Tribune. Alright, good. Thanks. We need to withdraw Cornelius as his efforts to our wars in the next set of turns, or unless we want to use him this turn as well. Well, we can't actually do that this turn, so never forget that last spot. Which should be quite useful in advance. So replacing him would be our fabulous unaligned Senator Valerius. I'd like to call for votes on this. Let's go starting with Justin America.
Sorry, what's the proposal? So
Cornelius, Statesman 1B, gets replaced with
he's recalled.
Valerius. And the province is, I believe, Cecilia?
Cecilia, correct.
Yeah, Cecilia.
And replaced with whom?
Valerius, number 3, Sandpit. Unaligned Senator.
Righto.
Why not Sulpicius or one of the ones with money?
Are you trying to judge how I do this? After just
was-
being caught of an assassination attempt, you're
I
trying
was
to
just asking for
question
the
how
reasoning.
people
That was
work?
all.
The accused is
Wow.
free, dictator. Please.
She was still caught, therefore,
She was still caught and found free in a court of law. As the censor, I
as
must
the
ask you-
magistrate, I demand a point of order for you to be
That's-
quiet.
perfectly fair.
There we go.
GM, am I allowed to call him out on his factual lies
No,
about
because the
court
proposal's
case?
under vote, and technically your vote can be forfeit if you talk over the dictator.
That's fair enough.
Can I just forfeit everyone but my vote?
As soon as the proposal's not in vote, you go to town, of course.
So I can forfeit their votes automatically, or do I have to have
Only
valid
if they
reason?
continue to debate a topic while you've called for votes. So the moment you've called for votes, dictator, that's it. It has to be voted on. If anybody continues to try and debate
So
the
since
topic,
I said I was calling for votes and was about to start, that means I can go ignore his votes?
right,
I asked for a
he
point of-
abstains essentially.
I
Yeah.
asked for a point of order. Did I not? I said, GM,
No, you
point
did
of
not.
order.
You just kept talking.
Clarifications are okay on the proposal, so I'd like to clarify what we're voting on. That should be perfectly reasonable and accepted by a presiding magistrate. But if it's debates outside of that or the legitimacy of something, then the presiding magistrate is well within his right to go, you're talking over the proposal under vote, therefore you are considered to abstain from this vote.
Well, Numerous Aurelius, you are considered abstained. Anyway, continuing on, Justin and Marita, what would your votes be?
My votes will be 6 in favour.
We'll go to Fortuna's Despair.
11 in favour.
the House of Incognito puts 5 votes in favor. And the Odaiti faction.
15 votes in favour.
Thank you very much.
The motion's carried with a total of 37 votes.
Heated
I
debate
like
in the
this.
Senate.
I like this power. You should have told us about this sooner.
It's in the rules. Bonus points to the senator that can actually find that point in the rulebook. All right, so we
trying to
are
get these
seeing a
bonus
proposal
points.
passed to see Valerius now being sent out to govern the new province. So I better go set this out. So it was Hispania. Oh, sorry, what was the
No,
province?
It was
Cecilia.
Sicilia, that's right.
Yep.
Yep.
The one that's
so
currently all the way
I'll
up
get
there.
rid of Cornelius and I'm going to send Valerius out. So we go to Senators away from Rome. And I'm going to choose Valerius. Here we go. Choose. Let's see if I can find his face in the sea of faces. I'm getting better at it. Let's have a look here. There he is. No, that's Furious. I don't want Furious. I want Valerius. Maybe he's in the discard. I have to check the discard. I can't see him here. Let's have a look. It's a shame they bring him up so small. I mean, I know you can click on them, but you shouldn't have to do that for each one. That's Unius. I'll check my discard pile here. See the Statesman variant.
Interesting. I'm just gonna,
So let's check the discard. Removed. Here we go. Not in there. Is there anything on Valerius' car right now? I want to just pop him out there. That might make things easier.
I just put on the away from Rome. He has nothing on there
I've
himself.
got to get rid of the term token as well off Sicilia. I'll get rid of that. Yeah, good. I like what you've done there. I'm just because there's no other tokens on Valerius. I'm not going to drag him and his entirety out there until I can find his relevant card. That's pretty simple to move him out. Excuse me while I move him through all the factions there and pop him out into Sicilia. There we go. So our underlined senator is now governing the province in a swap there. We can see that, right, the other senator has now returned. Was that Scipio that was out there?
No,
Yeah.
There we go.
yeah,
So Scipio's
the
back,
statesman.
and now I'm assuming Marcus
Cornelius.
Decimus has updated his faction votes accordingly.
Yes.
Good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. All right, thank you,
Sounds like it
thank you,
worked quite
Dictator. You can carry on.
Right, I'd like to put Sulpicius up for the governorship of Hispania Ulterior, I believe that is. And I'd like to hear from votes from Justia Marito.
What number is Sulpicius?
Sulpicius, unaligned senator, I believe he is... Jesus Christ, it's got to load. Gotta love roll 20.
I'll place my known votes in favour of the proposal.
I don't know his ID because my thing's not letting me load. I'm just going to need a refresh.
Yeah,
real
sure,
quick.
that's okay. Sorry, who was the proposed candidate for the Hispania?
Sulpicius, the unaligned senator with money.
Sulpicius, the underline senator, yes, and because he recently, so it's his son that's out there, yeah, so he's very eligible. He's not of an old age. Sulpicius 15 is the number that you want there for Hispania Ulterior, I think was your proposal, is that right? Yeah.
And since they are unaligned, we discussed this, they have to pay their gains to the Senate.
What we were discussing is whether they would raise provincial forces or not by spending from their own personal treasury. At the moment, we've said they don't. That's what we've done previously.
And they have to automatically take the income, right?
Yeah. So they will generate income normally, like any other governor for the state. That is,
perfect.
but they won't take provincial spoils.
Yeah, that's what I was just making sure they would take the.
Yeah. So provided the province isn't under attack, right, they will generate income for the state per the provincial tax roll. Yeah, that is correct.
Perfect.
In this case, state income is minus 1d6 minus 1. I don't know if that's
and it's under
particularly
attack, I believe.
But if it's under attack, then that doesn't occur. So if anything, that's probably in your favour if it's under attack.
Yeah.
For the state
Kind of
treasury,
hope
anyway.
kind of hoping he dies. Sounds kind of harsh when you put it that way. Anyway, because my roll 20, there we go. That's Hispania. This looks like a fancy one. It's probably the other one. Yeah, this game's not like me.
Are we halfway through a vote right now? Is that what's happening? I can't remember.
No, new vote.
Oh, did that last one pass?
Yes.
What was it? What is it?
Oh
what
wait,
are we
no.
voting
I
on
think
this
we
time?
we're going to the ID. Yeah, we went for the ID. Justine and Marie to put their 9 votes in favor of Sulpicius going
Right,
to
so
Hispania.
we're halfway through a vote. That's right. So
Yes.
Sulpicius, yep.
I'd like to call for Tiberius Cornelius of Fortuna's Despair.
11 in favour.
I put my 5 votes in favor. I'd like Pre-Byzantium, because you have right to vote this time, to put your votes on.
3 votes against.
That doesn't surprise me. And we'll put the Aditi faction with your votes, please.
So this is we're sending Sulpicius.
Yes. To
Okay.
Hispania.
15 votes in favour.
All right.
So that's 44 and 3 against.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Will you be handing that game, Master, or
If
would
you
we
just want
need
to put the away from Rome on Sulpicius, I found his respective governor
Mm-hmm.
card, so I'm going to pop that out there and I'll move his governorship out there now. Now, I think I've also got to put a under attack token. I think
I believe so, due to the Spanish revolt.
yeah, I think it says, so if I zoom in the card on view here for the screen, right, it says attacks Hispania, Citerior and Ulterior. So yes, I will place the province under attack marker, noting that for the Senate's consideration.
No, we have no consideration for that.
All right.
All right. We'll go for our next governorship in. Well, would anyone like to take up the governorship? Keep in mind, one of them will be under attack if you choose the wrong one.
Which one could it be?
Exactly. You know, if you're paying attention, you should know. If not, good luck.
So are we just calling for anybody to put themselves forward?
Anyone
Sorry, I
would like
missed
to
the
be
last
able to
bit.
put themselves forward
Sorry, I
for a
thought-
possible governorship?
Did we not have three governorships? And I thought the first vote was to recall and send one on the same vote.
And
Yes,
that,
we
and
did.
that occurred,
and
yes.
we just did another one then.
Oh, we replaced. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
No, that's a good.
Why aren't we considering we can't send Fulvius or Aurelius?
That is
Oh,
being
we
considered.
can. I'm just wondering if anyone would like a possible governorship.
And what is it? Which is this third governorship? Sorry, I'll go up. Where did we send Sulpicius? Which one?
To Hispania Ulterior.
Hispania.
If you look up at the map,
Yep, I'm just a bit slow unrolling.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, if just an update for those in chat, or if you've just joined us, the senators are considering the remaining provinces that need to be filled by governors. I guess the dictator has opened the floor a little bit for senators who are aligned who may wish to take up a post. Noting, of course, Hispania Citerior or Citerior, depending on how you'd like to pronounce that, is or will be under attack once the governor is assigned. And of course, Gallia Cisalpina is the other choice as well. Again, an option that the dictator is offering should somebody want to put a senator forwards to take up a post there.
Is there 4 governorships?
There are 4 total, and 2 of them
4.
have been selected.
I'm just missing the last one. Okay.
GM, can I just make a point of game management?
Mhm.
I think we should have removed our corrupt tokens.
Yes, we should
well
have
done.
as well.
Yes, good pickup. Censor. Naughty, naughty. That was a very lively session, though. I'm not surprised we forgot at least something. So, yes, everybody, if you've got a corruption marker, please remove those, place those back to the side. remove the corrupt portion of your concessions, of course, as well. Good pickup, Tiberius Cornelius. Well done. Points to you. I wish I could do that, award additional bonus influence points at the end of the game.
I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, at the end of the game, just have a sheet just written down of every senator that got something right and had bonus points.
Except for the governor who come home. Of course, he's got to retain his governor corruption, which he's kept there still, which is good to see. So that's the Scipio of Justia Marita. So get good reminder there from Alan in chat. Always vigilant. That's very good. Right, that's right. So the corrupt governors will retain their corruption until after they've had the opportunity to pass through a sense of presiding over corruptions, whether they're prosecuted or not, and they'll lose it after that. In this case, that'll be next turn.
Well, at this rate, I'm going to take it as no one's really wanting any of the
Sounds like it.
governorships, so you know. Gotta love it. Alright, then, let's see. Who has the least? Oh, they both have the same amount of money. Well, that's kind of uneventful. Well, Aurelius, we're gonna try and put him on... That's... So did we put Hispania out there already, or did we put the other one out there?
Hispania Ulteria is out there, yes. So we've just got the two, as you see in the sandpit, awaiting her for assignment.
And that would be Hispania. Which one is that one?
Hispania Citeria. So that's the
Citeria,
other half of
yeah.
Iberia,
Right
if you
next
like,
to it.
and then the Gallian
Yeah.
province.
So we'll put down Aurelius as our fabulous senator who's done quite well against wars by himself in defending governorships. And we'll put him forward for Hispania. I'd like to ask for Justia Marita.
Which is Hispania?
Citeria.
Citeria, yeah.
Yes,
I'll
just
place
spelling on that,
my
please.
Yeah,
9
certainly.
votes in favour.
It is Citerrior.
Thank you.
You may have to tell your votes again as well, Justia Marita.
No worries, Dictator. I place my 9 votes in favour for the proposal.
I'll call for Fortuna's Despair.
I'll do 11 against.
Interesting. We'll call for the Erdite faction.
I just had a question of clarity. I was wondering why Fortuna's Despair voted against sending Aurelius and Fulvius.
I'm wondering that too, but you know.
Yeah, I'm happy to tell you. I'd like to keep them in play so they become members of factions.
You can always, I believe, you can actually try and persuade them still.
Them. I thought they could still be recalled.
This is a question for the DM and Alan. Are you able to persuade these senators still, even though they are technically away from Rome?
You can only persuade senators in Rome.
Even
Yeah, that's true.
unaligned
But my
ones?
thing was that when we bring them back, do they just go back to the sandpit when we bring them back to
Yeah.
Rome?
That is
Correct.
correct.
Okay, so we always then have the option at a later stage to bring them back to Rome to pop them back in the sandpit.
Right.
And their money
Okay.
doesn't change unlike it would during people trying to vote for him. So I see nothing wrong with this.
Okay.
So the Erdite faction would like to hear your votes.
Yeah, 15 votes in favor.
The Pre-Byzantium.
3 again.
Did I call my votes? Fortune?
Not
Oh,
yet.
Scribo, did I say mine? Well, no.
No.
5 votes for.
So it's 29 for and 14 against. So the motion
Passes that one.
carries.
All right. Aurelius, off to Spain. I'll take that province out there. I'll get
I'll
his
put
governor
his-
card. If somebody wants to put the away from Rome marker on Aurelius back in the sandpit.
Yep, this has been done.
Well done. I'll just get Aurelius and his awesome perm under a helmet. Let's see, where is he? There he is. Excellent. All right, we now have 3 governors assigned, 1 to go.
So Gallia being our last one. Would you look at that? There's one in the middle. However, I would like to... With governorships, does age matter?
Yes, they can't be elder because they've got to be able to leave Rome.
Ruins my plans. Come on. Well,
So I think Aurelius just snuck in there.
I believe he's 6 at the moment.
Yep.
It's wrong my plan. I was gonna get Flaminius to go take it. We'll just chuck Fulvius then, the other unaligned senator with ID, I believe, is 7.
Yep.
And we'll take him to Gallia.
Yep.
And I'll call for votes from Justine Marito.
I'll place my 9 votes in favour.
We'll go to the Erdite faction.
I just missed what it was that we were voting on. I missed the first bit.
I can't pronounce his name now. Fulvius
Yeah.
to Gallia, the governorship.
Gallia Cisalpina.
Oh, yeah. This is ascending way. And this was the thing about whether or not to keep one in the sandpit to recruit.
Which you might get a chance at if some are drawn from cards.
Sorry, I missed that. Oh, are you saying we might draw more senators to go into the sandpit?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed.
You may not. We don't know. So look at the cards.
Oh, okay.
Plus, he already has money on him, making him harder, which means he's more likely to not get picked anyway.
You got to believe in the heart of the cards.
As a famous reference from a certain show says. Anyway, would like
Do
to hear
they
your
just
votes.
die as well too if they're a bit old, even if they're away from Rome? Do they keep aging and just die?
Correct. If they die, you'll need to replace them in the next Senate phase.
Okay.
Every
no,
They
province
they can
return
only
needs
to
a
the
stay up
governor.
Curia.
3 terms, though.
Yeah.
They return to the Curia as well anyway, so we could just get them back. I believe that is the case.
So a natural
Yep.
death for an unaligned is a bit of a funny one, but like other natural deaths, they will go to the sandpit and not the Curia. So if you're...
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. So when, what age do they die again? Because I'm looking at Aurelius.
It
who looks
starts
like
at
he's
7.
8. Oh, and it's the rolls. Okay.
That's
so
it.
they will be rolled upon.
Yes. Which I believe Aurelius will be starting to get rolled on next turn, so who knows, he could die straight away.
Yeah.
Right.
And when they die, they'll lose their money and they'll become easier to.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So what would your votes be?
Oh, my votes. And on sending Fulvius,
Yes.
I am going to put my 15 votes. How has everyone else voted?
We've only done
Positively.
one other person, and they voted positively.
Okay, but Tiberius hasn't voted yet?
No?
No. Okay.
This feels like a legal filibuster.
People of the Senate, I wish to read the first Hobbit to you.
An interesting Senate session.
I was just wondering, Tiberius, will you be voting no for this one as well?
I would like to make a point of order. You
Yep.
cannot ask him anything. It is your turn to vote. His votes have no impact.
All right, the dictator has spoken.
Vote 15 in favour.
I'll put 5 in favor. And we'll go to Tiberius Cornelius.
11 against.
And we'll go to Pre-Byzantium.
3 again.
So the motion carries 29 to 14.
I'm so glad I planned how I was picking people.
All right, let's put the province out there and I'll get Fulvius's helmet on. Gallia Cisalpina, there it is, just north of the Italian peninsula. Beautiful country, lovely mountains. Oh, we've seen Sempronius Agricola join us with 100 bits there. That's awesome. Gratias Tibiago.
I heard the ding and I was just like, it's Sempronius.
Yeah, I wonder who that would be. Yes, that's right. Who am I looking for? Fulvius.
ID 7.
ID 7. Is this the guy? I think not Furious.
Curly hair.
7.
Yeah, he's got curly hair.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
that helps, and it's brown. Though I think that most of them are brown
True.
or grey.
Valerius 7, not what's his name?
Fulvius.
Sorry,
Fulvius.
I'm getting it confused.
Well, no, telling you what type of hair it has doesn't really help looking at it. Yeah, let me see if I can help you here.
Copernicus. Not those.
He
two.
has no facial hair, so that kind of
No
helps.
facial hair. Okay. 7. I think this is him here. Ah, yes, there he is. I don't recognise him with his helmet. There we go. I got him now. That took a little bit longer than what I was hoping. No, that's Papirius. That's the wrong one. Come on. I saw it and I dragged the wrong one out. Where did he go? I love this. That's Papirius. Oh, we're going to do this all again. Come on. This is getting silly.
Real marathon session tonight.
It is. I think we'll conclude at a different spot tonight, folks, so we don't drag on too much. Furious. I might just have to come back later and do this because this is dragging on longer than what I would
found
like.
him. I got it.
Oh, you did? Awesome. Oh, way better.
He's in the sandpit.
Thank you. See, it's good. I like it with people a little bit. Yeah, there he is. Got him. Nice. Well done. Get him up there. Come on, hurry up. Your wagon's leaving. All right. And he's not under attack right now. All right, let's just double check cards.
He
that are
is
out there.
not.
No.
Second Punic War and I believe, something.
Let's put the other attack marker on the other Iberian province just to really make sure that we're aware.
All Germanic migrations, all Gaelic wars, and Second Punic War.
All right. We are now all caught up. Governorships are done. I'll take the liberty that the dictator will, in fact, call for his break at this point and allow our senator to step away for a little bit.
Well.
Yes, if you're in chat right now, please bear with us. We're going to give our senators a 5-minute break. Please hang around, watch the channel ads for a little bit, support the stream, have a chat, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes' time to continue with the rest of our Senate session for session 14 of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast. Don't go away. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right, we are back after our break, back in the Roll20 virtual tabletop environment. For those that have just joined us, we are still in the Senate session, and what a marathon session it's been so far. Lots happening, lots of cards been played, lots of things happening, lots of things not happening as well, for those that are keeping track of various events. Very exciting.
Was it?
What's that, Dictator?
Three assassinations,
three assassinations, including an assassination, quote unquote, of a tribune. Lots of death, lots of blood.
I don't believe it was assassination. I think it was a straight up murder.
True, yeah. Right. We've done and dusted all the compulsory Senate sequence motions now. So now we're moving into more of the other business side. So back to the dictator. Your floor. Over to you.
Well, suppose we can go on to the regular stuff. If anyone has anything to say at the moment, please do say so, because, it'd be kind of important if there's something we miss. Though I will say, I'm going to start this out with the basics to get it out of the way, and we do not forget about it. We'll go ahead with the awards. Our lovely medals, though I see our favorite created medal is not up here. We'll start with our previous Master of Horse, the award for Senator Manlius, ID number 6, for Punic War Campaign Medal with an enemy leader bit for service in the Punic Wars.
Manlius gratefully accepts.
Very good.
And now we get to the really long one. Right.
Posthumous now.
For Senator Julius, ID number 4, let's begin with the Eagle of Valor for defeating a war with 4 or more disaster standoff numbers. The Eagle of Courage for defeating a war with more than 20. The Eagle of Supremacy Second Class for taking no losses in victory. The Cross of Adversity for achieving a war in that has previously ended in defeat, disaster, or standoff. Roman Liberation Medal for liberating a captured province. And the Punic War Campaign Medal with enemy leader Pip for service in the Punic War as a dictator.
Wow. That deserves a
Thank
big
you
applause.
very
I think
much.
it's the largest amount of gongs awarded, I think, in one hall.
I believe it's the largest. Yes.
What I'll do is I can support moving those medals up posthumously, and I'll assign the clasp to the relevant medal if you'd like me to do that now.
Thank you very much.
Because there is quite a few there, and I don't know whether I've grouped them yet. So let's find Julius's other medal here. Let's find where you're storing. There it is over there.
They are in the bottom left.
Let's find a nice spot on one side. Maybe if I move the Master of Horse over here, or maybe we'll move these down a little bit. You've got lots of activity in your faction area. I like it. There we go. I'm going to move that up here. Excellent, and I'll pull across the other two medals too, because they're a part of his outfit. Lay those on his coffin, as it were. All right, Dictator, feel free to continue while I muck
there
around
is
in the
also
background
one in
here.
the bottom left or bottom right. I believe there's another.
Oh yes,
bottom right
that
of
would
her
have been for
faction.
another senator. Let's keep the medals together, but yes, good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
All right.
yes, Dictator can continue.
Is anyone in the opinion we need to rescind the land bill?
I think the finances of Rome are okay at the moment. I don't think having a dictator have any less popularity right now would be a good thing, but it's certainly something we could probably deal with.
Well, the dictator doesn't have to be the sponsor or co-sponsor of, or whatever it is, of disbanding this. So the popularity could stay the
But
same.
everyone who votes on it will lose it, right? As well.
Correct.
No, I believe influence.
Everybody will lose popularity who votes for the removal of the land bill.
And okay, there you go.
Yep.
Well, I don't think we should do that then, because that's we would take quite a hit at the moment, and you know, we can't really afford to have a
If you're
huge amount of
looking
popularity
for
loss.
reference, if you go down and have a look at the relevant table, it's somewhere here on our game board. But right, you'll see the actually might be up here with the others. Yeah, it's just above, on the land bills table. Would you like me to show you everybody on the board quickly? I'll zoom everyone's view.
Yeah, that'd be
Stand
great,
by.
thank you.
Just for future reference, even if you don't do it today. Okay, hopefully everyone's view is now changed. But you're looking at the land bills table, so you can see there there is a modification for popularity for all those. So you can see the voting for or voting against column respectively. So each senator who votes for the repeal will minus
Loses.
popularity. So in this case, for type
Jesus
3,
Christ,
you'll
yeah.
lose -2 popularity for each senator that votes against it.
And then we'll
for it,
also
rather.
get 3 unrest. So let's not.
Right.
So we're just gonna pass that off to hopefully next year, as long as we are in a suitable position, which we probably won't be. So we'll save that in our back pocket. Does anyone believe the Pontifex Maximus should be withdrawn?
I haven't seen an abuse of power.
I have not seen abuse of power. I believe the Pontifex Maximus has been quite useful in their roles of money and donations. So I believe if everyone is fine with this, as it does require 2/3 majority to be able to pass, I
But
believe
I'm happy
everyone's
with
in
it.
agreement. All right,
Yep.
let's keep our current Pontifex Maximus. Suppose we should do our concessions that we have, because we have quite a few of these. Let's see. Take a look.
All right, Dictator, considering more proposals while we wait. So for those that are watching on, as a bit of an update for this session, the senators have agreed that we'll conclude, do everything that we need to do in this Senate phase, and then we'll call an end to this particular 14th session once adjudications for the Senate have closed. been quite a long Senate session. It's been amazing, but there's been lots of activity, lots of things happening.
What was that tax farmer 3? Wasn't that attached to a senator?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was Sulpicius it was attached to.
Yes, if it didn't come off a minor prosecution.
Sulpicius was not was it?
But Sulpicius
Julius
died.
Did you have that,
one.
Marcus?
Yeah, so there was
Julius.
two that come off old Sulpicius, the elder.
Oh, Julius. Yes,
Julius.
Julius. We killed Julius died.
Yeah.
So. Well,
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. So that one is free to be selected upon since it is.
Yep, all concessions
in
you
there
see
this
there are
time, or-
eligible for vote. Yep.
All right. And then what's this one? All right. So we have 6 concession cards. We have Fortuna's Despair and myself with the most concessions.
Mhm.
But we also have to consider any number of knights and peoples, which means that. Alright, so Fortuna's Despair, the Erdite faction, and myself will be the most powerful in terms of income without any new additions to concessions until these ones are laid out. Therefore, it would be relevant to probably give some to Numerus Aurelius and Marcus Decimus to give them some power, as some of them just lost it and some are still down to their one senator. So I believe we shall start off with well, not vote against, okay. Sicilian Grain to the Justia Rita faction. Which senator would you like that on, if you would like that? Well, it
I
would have
think
to be first, but-
for roleplay purposes, we'll place that on Scipio himself after just returning from Sicilia to oversee the granaries personally.
Do we have to vote on these again?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
These are standard
We can
proposals
package
that
them
can
up
be
so it's a bit
vetoed,
easier
can
on
be
the-
voted
Do not
against.
worry, I will be sharing these around, so make sure everyone
But yeah,
gets something.
if we vote against a concession, that concession cannot be re-voted on until next year. So if we vote
Okay.
against something, then it's not income that we have for Rome.
Okay.
So can we package it up just to make it a bit easier and a bit quicker?
Yes.
Yes.
So this will be...
Although I just need 1 second.
Yep.
The only thing to be aware of, if we do package and then people don't like it and we vote no, then all of them get negated in one fall sweep. That's
True.
the only other thing to consider. But that also
Yeah,
could
that's
mean
right,
that people
China.
will not want to vote no.
And certainly as
I'm not going to package all of them, but some of them will be packaged to a certain senators. But I'd like to start off with Sicilian Grain towards our lovely senator who just returned.
So that's for Quinticus. So I've got that in the proposal.
Not Quinticus, I believe it's Cornelius, 1B.
Oh, Cornelius.
Cornelius Scipio,
Cornelius
the statesman.
Scipio.
Yep.
And so Numerus Aurelius said no votes against any proposal.
So that's yes and against the proposal. 3 votes.
So yeah.
Is the proposal finished, or are we going to...
This proposal is finished. There'll be Cecilia Grain to the statesman 1B of Cornelius with the Justian Rita faction. Numerus Aurelius would like to say that he has 3 votes against it. Even though we should be declaring time. Fortuna's Despair.
I'll go 11-4.
Marco Elliott? No, I can't even speak. Marco Elliott. Can't speak.
Which
Jesus Christ.
concession am I getting? Am I getting one?
You'll have to find this out.
Oh.
You're currently just giving away 1 concession to Marcus Decimus, who hopefully will receive this, as he has just lost quite a bit of power and would probably profit from this. So Cecilia Grain, we have currently voted with Tiberius Cornelius
Mhm.
and Numerous Aurelius against this, but he's also been against nearly everything else.
Mhm.
So we'd like to hear your votes.
So we're only voting for one of the concessions at the moment? Sorry, not all of them?
At the moment, one of them. One.
And which one are we giving it for? We're giving it to Marcus Decimus.
Yeah, Cecilia Cornelius, who was returned from earlier.
Well, strictly speaking, it's going to Scipio of the Justi Marita
Oh.
faction, right? Because it goes to a senator and not a faction.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
role play purposes, as he's just returned from Cecilia, overviewing the granaries there.
Package of land for his good work.
So what do you think, Mark?
Okay. So we've given out one to Tiberius already.
No.
No,
That's
no.
the
So
first
the only
one.
proposal on the
voted for
table
the
is for Sicilian
proposal,
Grant Cornelius.
Okay.
I feel another filibuster.
While this is happening, I'll put 5 votes for this while this is happening. Would you like to wait till the last person?
Yes.
Generous offer.
All right, Marcus Decimus.
I place my 9 votes in favour of the proposal.
All right, Marco, back to you.
15 votes in favour.
There we go. We'd like to
So-
hear the results, Scarlett.
It's 40 in favour, 3 against. So the motion carries.
All right. Motion carried. Collect your concession there, Scipio.
Perhaps we could pick up the pace a bit, Dictator, by packaging them
Yes, I will package these. I'd like to put down, I'd like to give our fabulous pre-Byzantium Junius Tax Farmer 3 and Tax Farmer 4 to add to his collection of Tax Farmer 2, since he is alone. So I'd like to hear votes from Marcus Decimus.
I place my 9 votes in favour for this proposal.
Hang on, so it's Tax Farmer what?
Tax Farmer 3 and 4.
And what numbers, Juniors?
I believe he is number 2. Let me just
10.
10. No, completely off. I believe Marcus said 9 votes in favor.
That is correct, Dictator.
We'll go to Numerous Aurelius.
3 votes against.
All right. Tiberius Aurelius.
11 in favour.
Marco Elodie.
15 against.
I'll put 5 for the proposal.
So it passes 25 to 18.
All right. There you go. Eunice, grab your 2 new concessions, 3 and 4 from the sandpit. Add them to your collection.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. Land Commissioner. Okay, we actually had 7, so there you go. Because Land Commissioner was being covered. Let's go with... We'll go with Land Commissioner and Harbour Fees to... Let's see... You know, I'll be nice just this once. We'll give it to Cassius, not ID 24 or Fortuna's Despair.
So what are we giving?
Harbour Fees and Land Commissioner. With
What number's
Cassius,
Cassius?
number 24.
Right.
Alright, I'd like to hear your votes, Tiberius Cornelius.
11 in favour.
I'd like to hear Marcus Decimus's votes.
I'll place my 9 votes in favour of the proposal.
Numerous Aurelius, I'm guessing 3 against, but please surprise me.
3 votes for.
And he did.
You asked
Got
to be
him.
surprised.
After you shall receive.
Yeah. Should have done that on the prosecutions. I'll put my 5 votes in favor. Earlier.
I have 15 votes in favour.
Good, because I
So-
wasn't give much time for that one.
It is unanimous at 43 zip.
I have a question for the Game Master. Are concession cards able to be swapped or given away during...
Nope. Once a concession is assigned, it'll stay with the senator until the death of the senator, really. Or as a result of, say, a war that destroys the concession or something, like we've seen with the Second Punic War and Hannibal, or some other weird event that might pop up. But other than that, a concession assignment is permanent.
Okay.
Or prosecution. Yes, thank you to Alan. So whoever won those concessions, you might want to take those now
Yes.
and assign it to the senator. Who was the receiving
with
senator?
our scriber. Cassius.
It was
ID
Cassius.
number 24, our
Right, yep. Add those
grey
to
board
Cassius.
guy. Yep. And our final concession, which is mining, I would like to give this towards... We'll go...
Decimus, can you just send those concessions to the back for me?
Certainly.
Please.
There you go.
Thank you.
We'll say alias, ID number 14, with the concession of mining as the proposal. I'd like to hear from Marcus Decimus.
9 votes in favour of the proposal.
I'd like to hear from Marco Elia.
15 votes in favour.
I'd like to hear from Numerous Aurelius.
3 in favour.
I'd like to hear from Tiberius Cornelius.
11 in favour.
I'll put 5 in favor.
So that's 43 zip again. Which number's alias?
I believe he was... Let me go have a look again. 14.
14.
Thank you.
That would be the end of our concessions.
I'll bring that concession up for alias. There we go. Assigned.
Thank you.
And let's see, that would bring us... What else do we have?
Just be conscious of your time, dictator. Let's.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the
Yep.
forces and whatnot.
Yeah, good
Okay, yeah. Alright. So everyone's in favor of getting the Cecilia pirates, sending land and force navals to this, correct?
I'll be very quick here. Just Senator Junius is going to call an assassination attempt against Senator Flaminius of the House of Incognito.
Now let's pause there for a minute and let's double check. I believe the House of Incognito has already been.
That does not matter in this situation. It's as long as the party who was doing the assassination has not done an assassin.
It does. So you can only be the subject of an assassination attempt once per turn.
I think so. Otherwise, let me just have a
Yep.
look.
I'm happy to
Flaminius
be
was-
corrected, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, that's all right. Okay.
Yep.
I'll hold off on it then.
Yep. Certainly, it would have been legal for pre-Byzantium to be the assassin. That would be okay because they haven't done one this turn. But because House of Incognito has already been the subject of an assassination attempt, they are not eligible to be assassinated again, or a senator from that faction anyway. This turn.
Yeah, no faction may attempt more than maybe the target assassin once. Yeah.
My mistake. Ignore me then.
Cool. You're just testing to see if I was awake. How did I do? All right.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Just quickly picking my card up
All
as
right.
well. So.
That gives us a bit of a hint there.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to continuing. Is everyone in favor of this? Deploying, well, not deploying, buying 7 fleets and then going with fleets and troops to face Sicilia.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in principle
Great.
supportive of that. We'll just need to work out the number of. It's pretty obvious with the fleets, but we'll need to figure out the number of land forces.
Because of course the other idea is if we want to try to prosecute any land battles.
The one against Sicilia is what I'm hoping for.
Just try to do the 1-2 punch.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with that. I think that the factor that really kind of benefits is the fact that it does have a drought effect, so we'll be able to get rid of that.
All right. The first proposal for the scriber would be to buy 7 fleets. It's not called sign kells for the naval batteries. It's still fleets, all right?
Still fleets.
Yeah, I believe fleets.
All right. Yeah. So 7 fleets.
Yep.
From our thing, so that brings us down to 7 talents.
We're not voting at the moment, are we?
This
we
will be a
voted on?
vote. Oh, no.
Sorry. Just a point order. Is this in the discussion? Or are we voting currently? So am I allowed to
That's the
speak?
proposal, I think.
We are proposing to buy 7.
Yeah.
fleets.
So if I speak, I'm not going to lose my votes, correct?
I will allow this the one time.
He hasn't called for votes yet.
Okay, so it's not an mission of allowance. So I would just like to point out that Flaminius has the shipbuilding concession. So I think it would be in the interest of everyone here, considering how low the state treasury is going to go, that unless he agrees to donate all his available currency to the state treasury, considering how much he's going to receive off this concession, that we don't vote
make it a public deal.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
So what's the deal?
As long as we don't have any votes this time.
I think he already made that deal before.
He did last
I did,
turn, but
you know.
this is a different one. So I mean, yeah, obviously, what I'm asking for is that all his talents get donated to the state treasury next turn, considering the large windfall he's going to make off his concessions.
I will donate the 21 talents towards the state treasury. Sure.
All right. We have it in writing.
Yep.
All right. Good.
Agreed.
There you go. So you can write that down. I'll need the 20 talents item from shipbuilding towards the state treasury. So I believe we'll call for votes on our raising of troops, which will go to Tiberius Cornelius. Do we get priests in that on this, or no? That's only sending in.
Yeah, it's like
not on raising fleets. It's only on deployments or recalls.
Yeah.
11 votes in favour.
Marcus Decimus.
9 votes in favour.
We'll go to Pre-Byzantium.
3 votes in favour.
I'll put my 5 votes in favour. And Marco?
Yeah, 15 in favour.
Unanimous 43-0.
If someone would be able to pull those up for us, that'd be great.
Bring them to the fields of Mars. Well, it'd be the port of Ostia in real life, or somewhere nearby Rome, considering Rome was not really shore-bound.
And now let's just quickly have a look at this so we don't spend too much time going probably past the timer. See, what do they have? Strength of 3 plus the 6, then they don't have anything from here, so that's 9. Plus the 2 fleets, which won't be a problem as long as we get the victory, even if losses. If we have losses, the highest we could take is -4, so -4, so that would have to take a total of 18 strength from legions, just in case we do lose any troops. Therefore...
So let's not send any veteran legions.
We don't need to, I don't believe. I believe we have the 13 regular legions. Yes, we do. So the proposal will be to send out... Well, actually, let's have an agreement on this. We'll be sending a Dictator Master of Force, 13 legions, regions, and all of the fleets, which I believe is 12. Everyone in agreement?
Yep.
I guess you'll find out when you vote.
Yeah. So what's
we'll see.
So it's a +5 for our fleets. Was that the
Let's see. It's actually +6 or +7. 4 for We have 12, so that's 20. 20 minus, what's that? 14, 6.
All right, so it's going to be a +6, and
Yeah.
and then it'll be something like a +11 for the land, and like you said, you've added a little bit extra just
Yeah,
in
so
case.
the land will be 9, and then we'll have 13 plus 8 is 21. So 21
Alright,
minus 9
I think
is
I'll be happy with 12
Alright,
and
12.
13.
So I just want to, guys, confirm. So it is the first Sicilian pirates you are considering, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And you are
The first
adding
Sicilian
Philip
pirates.
V's +6 strength to
Yes.
the strength of the naval battle as well. Yep.
Yes.
Good. Good. I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
you guys had accounted for that. Yep. Good.
I wish we didn't have to, but yes.
Of course.
All right. So the proposal will be put for the dictator and marker of horse, which is Aemilius, ID number 19, and Fabius, ID number, I believe he is 2. Yeah, Fabius, ID number 2, as master of horse, to be sent to the Sicilian, first Sicilian pirates, I believe it is.
Yep.
With 12 fleets and 13 regular legions.
All right.
Like to call for votes. Don't forget your priests and your Pontifex Maximus abilities. Marcus Decimus.
I place my 9 votes in favor.
Go to Tiberius Cornelius.
13 votes in favor.
I put my 5 votes in favor. Marco,
15 in favour.
do you have any priest, Marco, or are they
Oh,
gone?
16 in favour. I've got a priest. You're right. Sorry. Yep.
And Aurelius.
3 votes in favour.
What was yours, Quintus?
All right.
Okay.
5 votes in favor.
5, thanks. So total, it's unanimous. Obviously, the total is 42. No,
It'd be more
45.
than 43.
47 even. Hang on, let me do some proper
Wait,
maths.
you double your votes?
Personal
Tiberius?
votes. Double the personal votes of the
Personal
Pontifex
votes.
Maximus.
So +2 to your votes, and then Marcus +1. So
Yeah,
plus
so
3.
46. 46 in favour.
And that ends our Senate session
It
Wow.
at
does.
10 o'clock.
Well done. Dictator, if you want to
10:30.
facilitate your
10:30.
forces getting to the active
10:30.
Oh
forward
yeah,
box,
10:30.
make sure you
Yes, we shall get our forces up.
make sure your forces actually get there
Yeah.
and obey your commands. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
And predominantly, this will be our first real naval battle too, I think, folks. Is that right, when we get to it
Yes.
eventually?
Yes, it is, because our first one started out with its victory mark.
Right, that's right. You keep getting, it'll come up with an auto for that first Punic War, right? That'll be good. That'll be a Medal of the Admiralty if there's a victory in possession for the dictator, should they get a victory, which
Oh yeah, you've already got these senators.
we'll have to wait until the next session, because we're going to conclude our session today. So we'll just wait and make sure the forces make it to the active wars box. What was the agreement at the end? So all your fleets and how many legions?
13 regular legions.
13 regular legions, leaving the veterans behind. Ah, yes, yep. And then the fleets.
Just
So I
like,
can
that puts
move.
us like a +12 or something.
So I'm looking forward to that naval battle and the potential land battle to follow. Get rid of the pirates on the cove after the witch. That will be good. Yes,
put
good to
the
see the
away
away
from
from Rome
Rome
markers going on Fabius and Aemilius as the dictator. And of course, you'll be able to update your faction votes accordingly now that they are away from Rome.
Oh,
Excellent. And while we're waiting for the forces to complete their move off to fight the pirates, any final remarks in a recap of today's session from the dictator?
that was a Senate session and a half, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly our
Massive
longest Senate session, and let's hopefully not have something like this happen again, because the combat phase is quite fun. And I look forward for the many more assassination attempts on Flaminius, it looks like. So
Decimus, I recall a few weeks ago you lamenting the lack of intrigue. I hope that's been addressed for you.
It has very much been addressed.
I think we're quite invested in this at the moment.
I think so. The absence of other certain activities I've seen at various points is suggesting that all of you are in for the long haul and are really enjoying the intrigue, which I am too, fondly enough, and is a lot of the audience which is tuning in to watch this every week or watching it again on YouTube. You are building up a bit of a peanut gallery, and there are people now invested in the outcome of this game. So well done to you all.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Jinx, Alan. Alan, just shush.
Comment down below who's your favourite faction and senators.
Oh, there you go. It's been
A
put
call
up.
to action.
Call to action. Very good. All right. Well, at this point in time, we're going to say goodbye to our senators for session 14. So we'll get to see them again next week for session 15, where we will start off with the start of the combat phase, and we're finishing off the last bit of our Senate phase, really, but right into the combat phase. Alan says you're all special in your own ways. Very neutral selection there. So we're just going to have senators to say a walete, a final goodbye. And everybody in chat, hang around. We'll transition. We'll be right back, and then I'll do my end of session summary as normal. So don't go away. See you later. All right, let's do a bit of a recap after the end of our 14th session here for the Republic of Rome board game broadcast for 2021. With our 5 remaining factions now. We did start with 6, but we had one who couldn't no longer play with us, so we're down to 5, but that's okay. We've seen some thrilling intrigue and drama in that time. It's been astounding, and I've enjoyed being able to watch it live as the facilitator. So it's been very good, very enjoyable. So right, big news! Holy dooly, we saw a record number of assassination attempts there, and some further attempted ones which weren't allowed because of the amount of people being targeted or commencing attacks. So we saw Julius, one of the first victims of an assassination attempt, obviously very powerful there, and the potential for them to call a consul for life proposal, which didn't come out. We didn't see the consularship or the dictatorship put the presiding magistrate back in the forum of the Erudite faction. Now, whether they had any tribune cards or not, we're not sure, or maybe they made the conscious decision to play on and not run for consul for life, perhaps because they might be enjoying it. Who knows what the thinking is there, but nonetheless, the rest of the factions were still nervous, and it appears they collaborated together to convince someone to make an assassination attempt, which actually came, surprisingly, not from the House of Incognita, but come from the Justia Marita faction, and that was successful. And we saw Julius, the grand war hero Julius, defeating the Second Punic War, assassinated, losing all that influence, so not able to use it for consul for life or bank it, unfortunately. So that was a bit of a hit for the Erudite faction and Marco Edia. And then we saw some retaliatory assassination attempts there. We saw Terentius of Erudite attempt an assassination, I think, on Flaminius out of the House of Incognita, but that didn't go to plan. And because of a bodyguard card that came out, the assassin was caught because of rolls. Julius then, or the new Julius the Younger, as the faction leader, was subject to a special major prosecution, but got let off. Through the compulsory popular appeal that occurred, the censor surviving the death chit draws from that outcome. And then I think there was another assassination attempt in there. It's been wild. We saw the murder of a tribune as well, which was absolutely astounding. It's been all guns, all ablazing, and we weren't able to get through all the usual phases that we normally do in a single session. So we've concluded tonight at the end of the Senate phase with the dictator and master of horse being sent off to fight the first Sicilian pirates with a sizable naval fleet and a good sizable land force. So it appears that their attempt will be to obtain a victory in that naval battle and then fight the land force war. So I guess the land battle will have the advantage. Well, let's step back a little bit here. Look, they've got those disaster and standoff numbers that they'll need to square off against. So 15, 14, and 18 are the baddie numbers there. Now, the 15 appears twice, and I think we were able to determine in a previous session that 15 is still eligible to be rolled twice. So if they get I mean, it does make a difference. If they fail on the naval battle, then they don't get the opportunity to fight the land battle, right? So, but if they roll successfully and get the naval victory, but they could still fail on the land battle, but they'll still have that naval victory marker, which will assist them, and that will count as a prosecuted war because they will have that naval victory marker, so they won't have to pay the consequences of that unprosecution later on, or at least in terms of unrest. But I think what's not clear, probably for the Senators, and I don't know whether they fully evaluated this, is that they've got 4 active wars on the board right now. And with 4 active wars, if they suffer a loss against the First Sicilian Pirates and they don't also actually execute that land battle, that's it. That's game over for them. Now, Alan's brought up the refuge event has resulted in a situation where the 15 appears twice, right? But what is the result since one is a disaster and one is a standoff? Yeah, true. Oh, yes, actually, right. One is a disaster and one is a standoff. That is actually a good question and one I didn't consider here. But they don't want to roll either of those because anything but a victory here will mean a complete loss. And that, I guess, wasn't made clear with our senators still all in the room there. So fingers crossed that they defeat this war. Is there something else they could have done? Maybe they could have sent 2 smaller forces here to negate some of those disaster and standoff numbers against the First Sicilian Pirates. They were between a rock and a hard place here because that First Sicilian Pirates is at age 5. They really needed to defeat it either this turn or the next turn because they can't have an age 6 war at the end of a combat phase. But yeah, we are now at a very precarious predicament, almost like we were last session with the Second Punic War at that age 6, where if they don't get that victory, that's it. That's game over. So, it could be an abrupt finish for our 15th session when we take on that combat phase. So, we'll see what happens. Should I have brought that up in the session? Maybe. But, sometimes they might have to learn the hard way. But my luck and my best wishes will make our sacrifices to the gods in the hope that they will defeat the First Sicilian Pirates, get that naval victory market that they need, and get that land victory that they need as well, with Aemilius Dictator and Fabius as Master of Horse. Looking forward to that. That'll be next week at the same time here, Monday, 10:30 a.m. Rome time or 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. After all, we are running out of the East Coast here in Australia. All our players shotgun across the eastern seaboard. This has been a fantastic evening. I am Decimus Aurelius. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for all those that subscribed, cheered, donated, and followed this evening. It's always welcome. Thanks to Alan as well for all the tips and tricks on the rules and keeping us on the straight and narrow. That's always appreciated as well. So special gratias to you too, Alan. And thanks for all the supporters. And even if you're just watching, I hope you're enjoying the sessions and the program so far. I certainly am. So we'll see you all next week for session 15. It's been an absolute blast. Until next time, Walete.